Onion Hush.
Hello and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 23rd of September 2018. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Remember when we had no news?
And also Robert Kemp.
Taking part in a poop cast today?
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah, don't be casting any of that.
Yeah, I'll just,
Like, you can listen to it on the toilet. Don't be creating a podcast on the toilet.
yeah, I'll dial in whilst my stomach does backflips. And then it's like live. You got any good input? Oh, I've got a lot of output.
Even though input is output.
I mean,
You don't want it to be though, do you?
I ain't eating it.
Yeah, but you have to say things as in the output.
I suppose, yeah. In terms of
It's
podcasts,
very difficult to make a podcast that was only input, because that wouldn't really make any sense.
like input into the conversation is
you
output.
record a podcast which is just a track of silence because it's you listening to a different podcast.
It's just a new YouTube trend we've discovered. Like
Yeah.
it's a reaction video, but without the thing you're reacting to.
Yeah, exactly. You only have the reactions. And it's just like, and then if you're not one of those crazy YouTubers who do that constantly and play it up, it's just going to be quite a lot of silence.
I had a suggestion this week that we should try a format where we do Let's Plays but without the video, you know, like football commentary on radio, where you have to like do the Let's Play. You have to describe what's going on at the same time. For the podcast format, for the man on the go, or lady.
Oh, that's quite interesting. And
I reckon
probably amazingly difficult.
It'd be so hard.
Yeah.
But then thinking about it, it's like the radio commentary on football doesn't describe every little kick, does it? Like, in fact, sometimes when nothing's going on, they just sort of chat shit, basically.
I think they do, like, have to sort of perhaps be a little more descriptive than they are on TV, right? Where they can just have large periods of time where no one says anything.
Yeah.
And then they'll occasionally start, or like cricket commentary where they start talking about random members of the crowd.
Right, cricket commentary, that's because there's a lot of nothing happening most of the time in the game.
I guess, yeah.
Much
Either
less
way,
than
yeah.
football.
I mean, I guess at least everyone knows the game of football, whereas if you guys are doing Let's Plays, people might not know the game. So you
I
have
think
to describe
if you were going to make this theoretical video, which we're probably not ever going to do,
audio.
you'd basically do two uploads. You'd do the face cam commentary video and then the actual gameplay, so you can run them next to each other and then you have it sync up. So if you wanted to only see the face cam and try and guess what was happening, you'd have that video.
The Let's Play in pieces. And you have to do the legwork if you want to watch it at once. It'd be funny if you did like the face cam with no audio as well. So it's like
That wouldn't be very good at all.
there's a face cam with no audio. There's an audio feed of us just talking, and then
Unrelated.
a game feed. Yeah. Just make it as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
Build your own Let's Play. You can take audio from something else and put it over the top and see what happens. Put like Gungeon over the top of Final Fantasy VII. Barrett's got the noise gun. Yes, there's a lot of news.
Yep, sure is.
There's an awful lot of news. We've got Nintendo Direct. We've got proper news. We've got EGX to talk about.
Are we jumping in then? Has no one got any random tales? Other than
the fact that I'm a bit... Yeah, other than my I ate something I shouldn't have, apparently.
What was that?
And that's pizza.
It can't be pizza.
Yeah, no. It wasn't
pizza?
like... I mean, it was like a co-op packaged pizza around someone's house last night, so, you know, I'm questioning it. I'm questioning co-op pizza, yeah. It's causing me some problems.
I had delicious pizza last night, but it took 2 hours to arrive. We watched the whole film before it turned up.
Wow, that's kind of bad.
It was very nice though. I should have ordered earlier. It was a Saturday. No, it was. I was trying to try something new, like maybe fancier pizza place that I spotted on my walkout in Finsbury Park. It's called Yard Sale Pizza. It was very nice, but it did
had to go find a yard sale where they could buy the pizza,
presumably,
and then
yeah.
So took a little while
to deliver it to us. Yeah.
They're just driving around in an Uber, just trying to find a pizza on the side of the road. It's just, well, we got one. Quick, deliver it. Was it good once it arrived? You just have to be aware of your time restrictions.
Yeah, it was good indeed. We watched Solo, which I hadn't seen.
Oh.
Which didn't have a hut in it, but it has references to huts.
Imagine quite a lot of hut reference. There has to be, surely.
Well, there are a few, but they're not actually. They don't actually appear any kind of hut.
No.
You would have thought that would have been the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
his massive debt. Apparently,
well, that was the problem. Well, one of the issues with the film is like, it's not too bad, but of course, it didn't it flopped a little bit. So they won't make another one, but they're leaving space to do a second Han Solo prequel movie with Jabba the Hutt, which is annoying. It's like, just do one. Don't get that greedy and do a whole trilogy of freaking Han Solo films. That's ridiculous. But that's obviously what they were kind of planning. So
you should at least prove that what you're doing makes a bit of sense. And if Solo didn't on its own didn't make a whole lot of sense, then
that's the trouble with that whole idea. Is you can't, if you do everything in one film and it's great, and then you're like, oh, we want to make sequels, and now there's nothing left to work with.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to make it not the whole thing, and then be screwed if it didn't do well.
Yeah, so they had to leave a few lines from the original Star Wars, because the entire film, of course, is just like Rogue One, is constructed based on 2 or 3 lines that were in the original Star Wars film, right?
Yeah, got to do a Kessel Run.
Kessel Run, yep.
And that's about it.
It had the Kessel Run part, yeah. It had the winning the Millennium Falcon off Lando in a card game part, obviously. Yep. But it didn't have the
thing to do the Kessel Run.
But they left, yeah, exactly. But they left for the next one, which they probably won't make now, the part where he drops all his cargo at the first sign of an Imperial shipment. They didn't do that part. Yeah, so various bits available.
Did they try and make the black holes look fancy?
Yes, Run? Obviously. You have to make it look stupid.
So
more, as it's known. Yeah.
It's not even one black hole, it's 12 or something.
Well, I was complaining about The Force Awakens using the TIE Fighter attack theme from the original when the Millennium Falcon is getting attacked by TIE Fighters. But this one did it again in a better way, but then it blended it. So they were being attacked by TIE Fighters, and it was the TIE Fighter attack theme, obviously. Dun, 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 dun. And then they go into, the more stuff, and there's a bunch of, big rocks of carbon, and it starts doing the asteroid theme from, when they go into the asteroids from Empire Strikes Back, so it blends into that one. That bit. And then it goes into the Star Wars theme, and it's it's blended all through together into one sequence, which was pretty ridiculous, but quite good.
I mean, they did an asteroid scene without sonic bombs, though.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess the sonic bomb... Oh, no, it would have been... I keep forgetting that the prequels were prequels.
That's old technology.
Yeah.
Except probably not really, because since it was a Slave One thing, that's probably just random bounty hunter technology that no one else actually has.
Custom made.
Yeah.
Custom made by New Zealanders. Wow. Alright, so didn't really pass muster for you then.
Oh no, it's fine. It was just pretty forgettable, I would say. But I think they all did a decent, the guy playing Han Solo did a decent job, and the action sequences were pretty good, so I quite enjoyed it. But it was consequence free, and so it didn't annoy me as much as Rogue One, and it definitely didn't annoy me as much as The Last Jedi.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I would give it a watch for sure.
Fair enough. Throwaway Star Wars universe adventure.
My main problem was I don't really rate that actress, who plays Daenerys in Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
What's her face? She's quite famous these days. Anyway, I don't think she's that good. The whole acting thing.
Who is Daenerys? Does she have another moniker? Not
Oh, she's Khaleesi or whatever.
Khaleesi. What's that, like Queen of Dragons?
Queen of Dragons, yeah. That's
Right, her, because she's got an ad-on as well where she's singing in a Spanish bar for some reason.
Oh, really? Yeah, probably.
I think it's a perfume ad, I'm not sure.
Probably. She's probably going to be in all the perfume ads in future.
All of them.
Yeah. You know how there's certain actresses who are beautiful and then they end up, like Kristen Stewart or whatever, like now her main job is to be in those posters when you go into the department store.
Sure, and Keira Knightley.
Yeah, and Keira Knightley. Yeah,
nothing but Chanel ads.
Yeah, I think that's the fate that awaits this lady.
This lady, whoever her real name is.
It is famous. It's just slipped my mind.
Person de person. It's Spanish. Person de person.
Emilia Clarke.
It's Spanish, so it's not French accent.
I actually remembered it. Actually remembered it without looking it up. Amazing.
Cheese? Yeah. Is it cheese?
Because they put her in the Terminator film as well as Sarah Connor, and that was a bad move. I don't think that turned out very well.
She vaguely looks like a younger version of the Sarah Connor from Terminator 2.
Sure. But the thing about the guy whose name I can't pronounce or remember playing Han Solo is he vaguely looks like a younger Harrison Ford, but he's also actually good.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I suppose you do. It's a tricky one, I imagine, for like that, because they kind of do have to cast somewhat close in appearance.
Yeah, they do. But she was a new character. It's not like she has to look like...
Yeah.
Yeah, in this one anyway. Yeah. Not in Sarah Connor, obviously, but for this film. Solo.
Just don't rate her. Just don't rate her.
Just don't particularly rate her. She's fine. I don't know. Anyway.
She's not paying.
She's not paying.
Did we talk about that on here before? Like how they did a whole series, like not about chicken, featuring the chicken connoisseur?
No.
It was called Peng Life.
They just tried to make a meme. They tried to make it a forced meme, basically. And,
kind of.
There you go. We all know how well that goes.
It's an IRL force meme, which is the worst kind.
There's no Meshington.
But not that we saw.
Not a single Meshington reference.
that bit wasn't even about chicken.
No, that was about crepes. There was a crepe chat. There was a whole segment about crepe.
Well, yes, I had to get that in there somewhere. I guess that was technically the other thing that chicken connoisseur was originally about. It was mainly about chicken, but there was quite a lot of crepe going on.
There was some crepe chat. Yeah. They did like a was it like he didn't know what the crepe were, like what
they were,
and he just sort of put what one of those. No, they put him on his feet. And he had to guess how much they were worth, like which was the most expensive to the least expensive, and he was pretty accurate with that.
Well,
he knows his crap.
Not is that difficult to be accurate out of like 5 choices.
I guess, but like I don't know, shoes and fashion and all that stuff is generally quite weird. You might be like, these feel like garbage, like especially when it's like that sort of culture and it's like trainer culture, right? You want them to be like either snazzy or comfortable, and that's how you get your value from them supposedly, but. You'd think it would be okay, but, fashion. I suppose there's more of a comfort thing in shoes than there is in especially in that sort of shoe culture compared to other fashions. Like, you wouldn't necessarily go, the comfort rating on these stilettos is what's driving the price.
It could be, because a naturally uncomfortable thing, if it's slightly more comfortable, that's probably a good price increase.
I don't know anything about shoes.
No.
They go on my feet.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Most of the time they sit off my feet, I guess. Crap check.
Right, let's get into this news.
News! It's my news music.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of it.
Yep.
Needed some build up. Where should we start? Should we start with the ni-i-i-igt?
Sure.
So long ago.
Yeah, I think this was like not long after the last cast, so this
because it had been rescheduled from the week. It would have been the week before the last cast, on like the Thursday of that week.
We would have had more news,
so we would have had it last time, but then it got delayed, and so now we got it this time.
All right. Should I pick out highlights, or do you want to like run through?
We need to go through absolutely everything.
Okay, yeah. Let's try and Luigi's Mansion 3. Suddenly,
even though they're remaking the original for the 3DS, and that doesn't come out until next year, they've decided to announce the third one, which is actually on Switch.
Yeah, we're doing a brand new Luigi's Mansion. I still haven't played that second one, in fairness.
Well, no, because it was on the 3DS, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I could lend it to
you. You have.
Wait.
I do have that cartridge.
Oh, yeah, I already did lend it to you.
Yeah. I do have that cartridge. Yeah, so, like, people are looking at it thinking it's like, okay, there's a hotel theme going on here this time, so it's like...
Well, it looks like just like one giant building on the logo.
Yes, very tall building this time, rather than necessarily a mansion.
Because 2 was like 5 separate mansions, except some of them weren't even mansions, I guess.
Sheds.
Yeah.
Luigi's sheds.
There was one that was basically a warehouse.
Right. So I guess this is actually a return to how it's supposed to be, maybe?
Maybe. Who knows what the story will be, though.
Yeah.
Because they already had to come up with some weird bullshit for the second game.
Hotel Luigi.
The first game, it made perfect sense. It was all a big trick by King Boo, made up of competition which Luigi won to win a mansion which was actually haunted because the mansion maybe didn't even exist.
But somehow he'd stolen Mario along the way?
Well, I think there was probably... it was implied that, like, Mario got caught by the same competition, but he got there first, so he got captured, and then Luigi turned up and met Egad and all that shit. And then in 2, it's just like, well, apparently Egad just found this mysterious valley that's full of ghosts, and they're all nice ghosts until the Dark Moon happens, and then they all turn bad, and now you have to go through these 5 buildings that are in this valley.
Rather than just wait for the Dark Moon to pass?
Well, you know, the Dark Moon was, spoilers, was caused by King Boo.
No,
naturally. Because it's always fucking King Boo.
Oh, King Boo. So are we hype? Or is it just a thing?
It depends. Well, it's another one of those situations of, like, if they make it better, it would be nice. Because, I mean, the thing about the 3DS was, the original game had the weird C-stick controls, which was like, it was cool, but it was kind of awkward.
I think it worked. Yeah, it was a little strange, wasn't it? Because it was tank rotation, wasn't it? But
rotational controls.
Yeah, you had like 8 directional movement on the left stick, but tank rotation on the right, because you needed C back and C forward for something else.
For pulling the ghosts.
Yeah.
So that was, like, weird, but, like...
Oh, no, that was vertical, wasn't it? See up, see it up,
because you were pulling the ghost in with the pulling back on the C-stick constantly. It was like, that was weird, but kind of cool. It was like an interesting use of that controller, because not very many games even use the C-stick for virtually anything, so that was slightly interesting. And, you know, it was like practically the first GameCube game, so they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, it was a launch game, isn't it?
But then, like, in 2, it kind of lost the... Well, it didn't even lose the pulling mechanic, but because it was the 3DS, you just had a button that would have been like down on the C-stick, except it wasn't the stick any longer.
Right.
It was the look up button, which also functioned as the pull ghost button or whatever.
So you didn't necessarily get that same...
So it did, yeah.
That tugging feel that you had.
You know, because it was the 3DS, you didn't have dual sticks, you just had the one stick to control your rotation as you were walking around, and then once you locked onto the ghost, it turned into that kind of push the button to pull mechanism that was kind of like how it worked with the C-stick, but not exactly the same. But now they have, you know, 2 sticks. They could actually just make it much more precise, I guess.
Yeah.
More like an actual game.
A little more faithful.
More like a modern actual game with real controls instead of a weird thing that they just had to hack together for whatever system it was on at the time.
I did always think it was a bit strange that Luigi's Mansion 2 was 3DS focused anyway, like, rather than Wii U, I suppose.
They probably just didn't want to make something that big out of it, I guess. And also, it's not actually like... Is it second party Nintendo? I don't think it's like first party. It's like there is a sub-studio that does...
Oh, what, you reckon it's like at least Camelot or something? Or,
yeah, I think 2 was done by someone inside... It's partially inside Nintendo. It's not really a first party thing.
Okay.
I think. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah. In the same way that, like...
Smash Brothers was, I guess.
Yeah, at first. Or Monolith handles Xenoblade, for instance. And, yeah.
So it could be good. And, you know, and the other question is, how big will it be? now that it's a real game.
Yeah. I don't know, there was a certain amount of, like, okay, my immediate takeaway was there's something off about the style. Because I don't think, like, that first game has such a landed style. Like, even, like, the little thing where he shines a light on the ghosts and the text pops up, a bit of me was all like, well, that doesn't look right. I was like, I don't know why. Like, I had immediate gut reaction and be like, that looks worse somehow.
Well, yeah, I guess it's, like, almost too generic.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a generic, it's like Arial font or something. You need like a bit of stylization on those.
I mean, I'll admit some of the styling in that first game is a little bit unreadable in places. Like, you know, where the numbers are like surrounded by like yellow and purple, like madness. Yeah.
Not that you need to necessarily see the numbers.
No, you
could have just made that a bar.
You just need to know they're going down, and you had a sound to help you that.
In fact, they could just get rid of the numbers entirely.
I suppose it was kind of nice because you could like tell how.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up,
exactly. Noises like that.
Yeah.
Not numbers.
eBay.
So yeah, I don't know. That it could be good.
2019. Undisclosed.
Not exactly saying much, really, but
undisclosed part of 2019. Also, no title. Luigi's Mansion 3 is working title. Like, because I guess there's a missing subtitle, right? As it normally is with because Dark Moon was added to 2.
Yeah, but they don't have to do that.
Hotel Luigi.
It could just straight be Luigi's Mansion 3.
I should call it Hotel Luigi.
Then put in some Hotel Mario references.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some toast.
Some toast. Kirby's Epic Yarn coming to 3DS.
Well, basically, several Wii U games coming to 3DS is what they're doing now, apparently.
I think that's a sensible idea. But,
I mean, they could just put on the Switch.
Yeah, Switch would probably almost be a better fit again, because they were already designed for that resolution and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
Like, just put them on Switch, yo. Then a very cryptic Splatoon 2 version 4 trailer, because it was done in world style.
All of those Splatoon trailers have been like that, really, where they don't actually tell you. They don't literally have any words. They're just like, here's some funky, stylish shots of things that are new, and it's like, well, I guess those weapons are new because they're differently coloured than they usually are.
It's like a hammer and the thing,
the new actual
and new grenades and like I still don't actually know what the Dragon Ball is about that they showed at the end of it.
Yeah, it's like some kind of advanced splashdown.
Yeah,
because it basically appears to do the same thing when he fires it.
So I haven't been asked to go and read up what that's all about, because this stuff's all out. Version 4 came out like immediately after that trailer.
But you don't need to see it. You can just go in the game and play it. Yeah, now. You don't need to read anything.
So there have been some changes. I might as well talk about that now, because I dug into Splatfest yesterday to check out some of this stuff. They have messed around a little bit. Like, there's like normal and pro mode for doing Splatfest, and I think that's about like how you team up and things like that. Like, it's their equivalent of doing like league games, I suppose, during Splatfest. So you could pro up during a Splatfest. But there's these like 10 times and 100 times modifiers that can apply to fights during Splatfest, and that basically means this particular battle is going to be worth 10 times or 100 times the number of votes or wins that contribute to the Splatfest score.
Kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. A little strange, a little random. Add some tension, I suppose. Tension mounting. And they have messed around a bit with how the lobbies system works a little bit. Like, it feels like they're slowly edging towards a better solution for that stuff, but they're still not quite there. Like, for instance, when you're in the lobby now, it will show you what weapon everyone has selected, but you still can't change it at that point, so it's kind of pointless. It's like you can see everyone's got these weapons selected, and it's like you still can't build a team composition based on that because it doesn't let you. So it's like, okay, right. It's a step in the right direction, but not quite still. There's like a ready up indicator that only readies up if you're like, that only makes a difference. Like, if you've gone to like set equipment before the fight, like that ready symbol won't be shown until they come out of the equipment menu. That doesn't mean you could unready yourself or anything like that. It's still not quite there. And also that lobby now has like during Splatfest had an irritating beep that was playing the entire time. It was like going beep, 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 beep. And I think that's because like it was like the notification noise for like a news flash ticker that was going on down the bottom of the screen where it was telling you these people just won 100 times battle. But I do like the fact that you're like at the start of a match now, your team gets a name. Like it just makes up a name for you for your crew based on the people that are in it. Like so, if you get a squad of nothing but dudes, it'll say it'll put dude in the name of your team somewhere. So it's like this is the dude squad. And then if you're like entirely made up of squid characters rather than octolings, you'd be like the dude squid squad. Except there'd be all kinds of other variants of it. It's like, oh, this is the squid syndicate, or this is the crazy octo party. And it's like, I don't know, just that. It's stupid. It means nothing, but I like that it's there. So Splatoon. And also that shot of what we thought was a new stage in that trailer was just the Splatfest stage.
Well, that one tiny bit of a shot where it just briefly showed... Cause it
showed the bounce pads.
Yeah, you can see it kind of has that space-looking background.
Yeah. So that was just
Splatfest stage.
That was just this Splatfest stage, so nothing really...
But the new stage is the actual new stage, presumably. That Japanese Temple-y... that is.
Yeah, that looked cool. I don't think that's... I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it in rotation.
I haven't seen that in rotation.
As is traditional.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's live or not. But yeah, Splatoon 2. Still being Splatoon. And I haven't heard that... I hope that music that was in the trailer gets added to the game as well, because that was some funky beats.
That was better than some of the songs they've added.
Yeah. Or... I don't know. I kind of like the weird jazz fusion and the even the weird country stuff they added. It's like it's all fine. It's all in world. But I wish I still wish they'd just bring the music from Splatoon 1 over. Like just do that. That's an easy win, surely. Anyway, yeah, Splatoon. We'll come back to that a little later. Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. I don't know. That's a cool thing, right?
Or as the Jim Sterling video declared, the Lagcom Lag 'em Up Laggle, which probably tells you something about how well that works.
Oh, really? Is it so? Because it came out immediately, right?
Yeah,
like, it was a shadow drop.
Lag 'em up.
I'm sure surely for like local play that must be absolutely fine, but like they were touting this as like a
online,
as an online thing. It's like, hey, you can finally play these beat 'em ups online, and a couple of them we've never released outside of the arcade before. And there's quite a lot in the pack, isn't there? Like 8 or something, eight arcade beat 'em ups. So it's like it's not that bad a deal. Except I guess it doesn't work if you want
online at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was cool. They're re-releasing New Super Mario Bros. U.
God damn it!
On the Switch in January, and it's like I'm in the minority, I think, and I thought that game was fine. I thought it was pretty good, in fact.
I think a lot of people think it's fine and good, but it's just like, can we not have that again? And
what you wanted a new
and you already had like basically 2 games after that were the same as well.
But they're including
one of them in this one.
Yeah, they're including like, Luigi in it.
Come
Luigi
on,
U.
New 2D Mario, maybe less wah.
Wah. I love the wah. Katamari Damacy Reroll.
Yeah.
Which, is just a re-release of the first game.
I mean, I guess.
Turns out.
Reroll.
We didn't play that one on our video. We played the second one.
We played, the better one. We played We Love Katamari. So, in fairness, I don't think I'd never put much time into the first one. Because I don't think that got an EU release or a UK release. I think that was like Japan and America only. Yeah. Like we missed it for some reason. And then We Love Katamari came out here, so that was my jumping on point. And then the 360 one wasn't as good.
Nope.
So I have no idea if the first one's as good as the second, but I doubt it.
Muchly the same though.
And then we got the here's where we're going to talk about Switch Online and why it's so great. They kind of failed there.
Well, I mean, they said exactly what they were.
What we already knew, yeah, nothing special at all, really. In this, that it was September 18th, which is been and gone now. It's out. It's a thing. You needed it to play online, but that was the sales pitch for the online play. So is like, yes, I know we knew this was coming, and yes, like it's. Yeah, we always knew that they were going to make online play a paid thing. But the way they sold it in this direct was all like, hey, now, it was almost like, now you can play with people across the world from anywhere. Now you can use this crappy app to voice chat. And it's like, yeah, we've been doing that already. It's like, it's not a sell. It's like, we know what this is. And it's like you can't make it like this big amazing thing because it's not a big amazing thing. You're releasing a service that's worse than the other services to do things we already did. And they were like, yeah, look at this, isn't it amazing? And it's like, no, shut up. You've got this. They're playing this all wrong. I don't know. Like, it's just. I don't think there's anything they could have done to make it better. But
apart from have it happen immediately rather than over a year
yeah,
later, that would have been better.
It's just so weird. It's yeah, and like the NES library is the one, and Cloud Save, I suppose, like are the two things really we're getting out of this for your monies. Which worked out like 17, 18 quid for the year for an individual membership.
Yeah.
Which is, a couple of quid less than the dollar price, which doesn't translate all that well, as usual.
But it's better than it just being the same one.
Yeah. But, that NES library is kind of poop at the moment. It's like it's 18 games that are, pretty much the early NES titles, and they're all first titles.
It
has got Mario 3.
About, really.
Yeah.
Although the NES version of Mario 3 was always
it's got Zelda.
I guess, if you want to play the original, but that was a weird game.
Original Zelda's fine. It would have been more interesting if they'd put Zelda 2 on there.
Yeah, that's more interesting to us anyway.
Yeah. And we know they're going to roll this stuff out, and we know they're probably going to have to go and get licenses and stuff for more titles on the platform. Plus, there are rumours circulating, thanks to graphics they found in the recent Switch firmware that suggests they're going to be making SNES-style controllers, like the NES-style controllers they announced. So we're probably going to see SNES games turn up in this library as well, which would be lovely.
Cool.
But the big old question with all of this is, as it always has been with Ninty and Virtual Console, is when. Just crack this stuff out, Ninty. You've got to make it worth it. Like, just put it out there. Don't tease us. And does it mean we just still don't know if that stuff is going to get phased out of the library as well? Like, if it will be rolling as well. So there's all this that they didn't really clear up.
I feel like they said that at some point, but I don't remember for sure.
I don't think they specifically said that stuff couldn't go out, nor did they really say that stuff would go out. So we're in that sort of limbo state. They just said that things would get added, but yeah, and special offers, which they didn't tell us anything about.
Well, I mean, depends whether it will be any more special than the stuff they're already trying to do with the Nintendo accounts.
Yeah.
Or whether it's just those same things, but now you have a more locked down account. I
imagine it'll be like you get like PS Plus and Xbox Live, where you get a bit of a tiny discount on some games just because you've got a Switch Online account.
You already get that without. We already had that before with the regular Nintendo account.
Well, I mean, they've still got like the platinum points or whatever it is, like trade-in policy, or gold points. It's gold, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, gold for discounts and platinum for random bullshit that you don't want.
That nobody ever wants, yeah. I think all of my points have expired now.
I think mine are about...
So there was nothing I wanted to cash in on. Yeah. Absolutely nothing worth cashing in on.
And I had my last month when they had it's your birthday month, so here, have some offers on shit you don't want, naturally. There's a terrible selection of games.
Oh god, yeah. I'm looking at that. That was bad. So they haven't really had a decent track record with that stuff in recent times anyway. It's not like the old Club Nintendo stuff, which was pretty great.
The gold points are fine. I mean, that's about as much as you can say.
But it's like you get so few of those. And it's practically...
But it's still a discount.
It's still something,
Still a discount to something you're going to buy in the future.
Yeah. Even if you buy it off Nintendo and don't get your cartridge elsewhere or something. Then.
Well, I mean, or, to buy them online, you should, I guess.
Yeah. NES controllers was the other thing. I mean, I guess that's cool, but whatever.
I guess they wanted to make them real, but it was kind of dumb how they made them bigger than the actual system. They made them the literal size of NES controllers instead of scaling them to fit on the side of the Switch, so they stick out a mile.
Do you reckon they would be better if they'd have scaled them down?
I don't know if they would have been better. It would have just looked better.
Yeah, while it was docked anyway.
Not that you can use those controllers for anything else, really.
No.
They don't have all the buttons on.
And they don't have any of the motion tracking or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's still $60 for the pair or something?
And you know what is better,
$70.
better than the NES controllers is if you're in
Pro
Japan,
controller.
you get the Famicom version, and those are much cooler.
Yeah. The weird gold version.
And they have the little mic on Player 2's controller. They have the mic and the little slider, which presumably don't actually do anything.
That's still cool though.
But it's still pretty cool.
That's still cool. Yeah, bummer. I suppose you could just order those and it would be fine.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, but you have to order them from Switch Online. Like, you can only get those if you're an account owner and you order them direct from Nintendo.
So you probably wouldn't be able to, unless you change
eBayed
the
it.
country or whatever.
Yeah,
So you can't do that while you're subscribed. It's in the small print.
No.
You can't change the region
switching
of
anymore.
your Switch whilst you're... You can theoretically still do it, but you have to cancel your subscription. If you're a recurring subscription, you have to cancel it, and then it will let you change region.
Huh. Yeah. So those, Diablo 3, I think we knew was coming.
Yeah.
Super Mario Party, they didn't really tell us anything new.
No.
Town, which might be the best name for a game. I hope they don't change it.
Together, though, presumably.
Let's get hype for Town.
Yeah. Except not that hype.
I mean, it looked interesting. It's all set within the confines of this town, and there's monsters attacking. But I kind of liked the bit where he just plucked ideas out of the air.
Yeah, but whatever that means.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. It had some style.
It had a bit of that kind of Japanese game style that's kind of classically of the Dragon Quest is not entirely similar, but vaguely similar.
Yeah, I suppose there is a little bit of a stolen look in that respect.
I assume that's just
Inspired,
a Japanese kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because you could probably put yokai in that bracket as well, and maybe even Earthbound looks a little that way
from pixel art. Yes, I guess.
Anyway, Town, City Skylines. Coming to Switch.
Suddenly.
It looked kind of garbage, to be honest. It was a very pared back version.
Bad frame rate.
Yeah, terrible frame rate.
I don't know if it graphically looked that, I mean,
I think it
had to be turned down quite a bit, but not...
It looked good
terrible.
at night.
Sure.
The night graphics looked fine, but the day graphics looked quite pared back. And,
I don't know if it's really that bad. It's kind of hard to tell on that kind of video.
Yeah. Then we got a sort of story trailer for Demon X Machina.
Not exactly story.
No.
They briefly mentioned the one thing and that's it.
They talked about that you can jump out of the mech.
Yeah, which is weird.
It is weird. Like, why would you need... There has to be a reason
Why
to
would
do
you
that.
ever do that?
Yeah.
The classic question of mechs. If you're in a mech, why would you ever get out and just be a person?
That game continues to look weird, but I dig its metal. Yoshi's Crafted World is the official name for that Yoshi game. Coming out also in spring 2019. Although I thought the announcer was being a little too cute with this, and it's like, what? You can play the level backwards? Amazing!
I mean, that's what they do.
I know, yeah. A little too cute. Carcassonne, which I think we knew was coming.
And all the other board games.
Asmodee stuff, yeah. Civ 6, getting a Switch version.
That was spoiled before that direct. I think we talked about that last week, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
After the direct got delayed, we were like, oh yeah, but they've already revealed that Civ 6 is going to be there because they released their trailer early.
Oh, yeah.
Because they released it when the direct would have been.
Yeah, I remember now. Oh, we'll probably be okay, right?
I guess.
I mean, do you reckon they're simplifying it like Civ Rev?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Looks
like they just put that game out again.
Fair enough. Then we got a little bit more of the Starlink, Star Fox stuff. And everyone seems to be like, oh, hey, they've characterized these guys pretty well. Like, I don't know, that little wolf skit at the end. It's like, that's a pretty good voice they've given Wolf.
I guess.
Yeah. Then Crystal Chronicles Remastered.
So we can maybe play that game again, maybe, except not really. Because, as usual, the classic problem with this is it's a real hassle to get all the shit together that you need to play that game.
Yes, you need to get your GameCube out. We need to get all the GBAs out of the box. We need to wire it all up. We need to make sure they all get power somehow.
Yep, batteries.
Yeah. I think one of our cables doesn't work or something.
I think it's because those aren't official cables, are they? They don't fit very well.
I think a couple are and a couple aren't.
They don't fit very well on the top of the GBAs. Which is awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big hassle. So now you can just do it online, but that's still that's still basically just going to be me and Rob.
Yeah.
So it's still not actually going to be any more capable of being played.
It's like, but here's the thing, like, the Crystal Chronicles Remastered isn't just coming out on Switch, it's getting a PS4 and an Xbox release as well.
Will it have crossplay?
And will it have local play?
Well,
more importantly. And how will that even work because of the whole thing about how it used to have your own screen?
I think it will only have online, and, if you don't play it online, you will just be playing it single player with the chalice removal.
Right, yeah, which wasn't the way to play that game.
No.
That was not a very good way to do it. I don't know, it's kind of cool that they're doing it, but yeah, you're right, the sort of logistics of it all seems to...
It's easier, but you still need to have 3 other people who you can coordinate long game sessions with.
Yeah, very long game sessions, yeah. Final Fantasy 15. I love the title of this. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD.
Yep.
It's strange. It's like, yeah, we've taken the mobile version and we've made it a little bit sharp, so it's a better version of the lesser version of Final Fantasy 15. I'll be honest with you. I look at like how the combat works in Pocket Edition, and I go, I wish I had that camera angle, like in real 15. It'd be slightly easier to play. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody, which I think, is a remake of the original Chocobo Mystery Dungeon.
Or one of them. I don't know if there's all one.
Okie dokie.
It's old anyway.
Okay.
It's like 2007 or something.
So you don't really care?
Well,
as the Mystery Dungeon player?
Well, that's the problem with it. If it's that old, it's probably like a step back in what they even improved.
Yeah.
Not that they did improve that much between those games, it seems.
No, it very much looked like a Mystery Dungeon game. Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age is coming to Switch, as is Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy X and X2 remasters in 2018. So that'll be soon. Although everyone's going, where the hell is FF8?
Yeah.
It's like, why have you snubbed that one? And there's a theory circulating that it's because the port of 8 that they did a little while ago wasn't actually that great, and that they only really got their act together for 9. But then why is 7 there? Just because, isn't that port the same sort of level?
7 is real easy to run.
Yeah.
Because it's ancient. You just port that badly and just throw hardware at it.
Yeah, so maybe they're expecting like 8 is going to get that a little bit of extra retouch done to it or something, and they'll put it out again
if they can be bothered.
Yeah. And finally, Smash Bros is getting a new character in the form of Isabelle from Animal Crossing.
Oh yes, and the classic Tom Nook sequence that they showed.
Yeah, where he's just watching the Smash trailer play out, and then for some reason has trouble turning on his lamp. And then it's like, I better get back to work then. Like, screwing people out of money, I suppose.
Yep. Doing what he does.
Yep.
Because everyone wanted to beat up Tom Nook in Smash Brothers.
It's just an Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, an actual Animal Crossing game.
But an actual Animal Crossing on Switch. Exciting.
On Switch?
Maybe.
In 2019?
Yeah. Same problem. It's like, can they add anything to it, or is it just going to be another one of those games?
Is it just going to be New Leaf again? Oh.
Yeah.
Presumably they can do more now.
I mean, they can do more because they've got a bigger system to do it on, yes. But whether they will or not.
They could probably lean into the online stuff because they want people to buy online.
I'm not sure that's the game to do it.
I don't know, because they had some online stuff though, didn't they?
Kind of, but it was asynchronous. Unless, well, you could do it synchronous, but that was the least important part, I guess. Like the having people's houses turn up in your... They asynchronously turn up in your town so you could buy stuff out of them.
Right.
Was the main thing that online was used for.
Surely that would be a big thing they could do would be to have co-op towns.
Yeah, I mean, they could make it function better than it did, I guess.
Like, so they could host them online or something, and you could invite people to be your co-op partner, and if it was like cloud-based, an either player could jump in to manage it.
Yeah, like, they could have it be a save that was just like in a server.
Shared save, yeah. That'd be really interesting.
That would be better.
I doubt they'll do that, but that sounds really interesting. That sounds like the obvious next step that they could take. Yeah, so that was an Indie Direct.
So the thing about Isabelle, I was instantly confused and vaguely annoyed about is like they still don't fucking know. They introduced the whole concept of echo characters, and they still don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah,
because Isabelle is clearly an echo character of the villager in some ways,
but they've changed some stuff. So does that mean she's not an echo?
But she's not. She's classed as a separate character,
right?
And like they made the whole concept of echo characters to excuse them having clones, essentially. But even that, they didn't use it correctly, because, as I said, it's like Isabelle being a new character is like, she's different enough of the villager that I can accept that. But then you go back one step further to the previous Direct, the one that screwed it all up was Crom, because he's classed as an echo of Roy, but he has, like, totally different moves. And it's not like, he shouldn't be an echo character either if you're going by that logic. And then, even going back even further, as we said on the first announcement of Smash, why is Dr. Mario not an echo character? Because he really is.
Because he has a couple of moves that are different from Mario, but that is like, what is their classification of what is different enough?
Yeah, because even Dark Pit and Lucina technically have some different, I mean, Lucina less so, but Dark Pit definitely has different moves than Pit.
Although Dark Pit is very close. Yeah, like closer.
Yeah, but significantly different, like, hits, I guess. Because Lucina, really the only difference is where the hit zone is versus Marth. Her moves are identical.
It's like, I get it. Like, in some respects, like, maybe they're taking, because you had the, like, move customization system in the Wii U version, where, you know, some of those moves weren't canon, I suppose, by that logic, but you could customize a character to have that move set with an amiibo, I think. Was that how that worked? I can't remember.
I'm not sure that's how that worked exactly, but...
So, like, they've got a bit of a pool they could use this time round and be like, oh, we can use these moves on other versions of the character, like, and that's where echoes could come into play.
Except not, because that's not what they're doing.
Yeah. So anyway, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Character's a character, but...
Yeah, but
it's just they added
feel
the
like they
classification.
screwed up that classification.
Yeah.
Like, if they... And, you know, it's going to be more obvious when it's like with the character select screen where you can stack the echo fighters. It's just like... You've made this random classification that stacks these characters even though they're massively different from the characters they're based on when they shouldn't be, and they should be separate characters. Except sometimes they are. It's just like, even do it or don't. Even go through and make logical choices and put echo characters where they're meant to be, or just don't do it at all. Just have everyone be a separate character. Don't make this weird half step. But yeah. And the other thing I wanted to say about the Nintendo Direct before we're done with the Nintendo Direct is... something that I don't know if it was intentional, and if it is, someone who's running this Direct was a genius, basically. But so they announced Animal Crossing at the end, but in the middle they had the announcement for that game called Town from
Game Freak.
Game Freak, yeah, the Pokemon company. Not Pokemon Company, Game Freak, because Pokemon Company is a separate part of Game Freak. But they had the announcement for Town, and then immediately afterwards they had the City Skylines, and one of the Animal Crossing games, the subtitle is Town and City. And it's like, if that was intentional, that was a genius one.
Oh, wow. Like you reckon that was a very shrouded hint at what was to come?
Like, if that was intentional, someone's a genius.
That's pretty funny.
Somehow I doubt that's intentional. You never know.
It's good. It's good, though. It's nice to believe someone did that.
Also, speaking of things that are like probably not actually a reference to anything, the completely random Tom Nook can't turn on his light thing.
Yeah, what is that about?
This is totally not a thing that's real prediction.
Presumably he's like a miser, isn't it? Oh, I don't know.
No, well, my prediction
he didn't pay his power bill or something.
Well,
it turns on eventually.
His light shit because he's saving all his money.
No, my prediction is that it's because it's in the Smash Brothers part, except I guess that was technically the Animal Crossing part at that point. My prediction is that's the hint for Shadow being an Echo character, because he's in Shadow.
What Shadow? Which Shadow?
He can't turn on the light, so it's dark, and he's in shadows.
Yeah, but What do you mean, which Shadow? I mean, which Shadow?
I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog, the Echo character that everyone thinks is coming, because it's real obvious.
Okay. What? But no. I mean,
why not?
I mean, that sounds like a stretch.
Of course, it's a stretch. It's a dumb. Just like when we had that thing where we said about Zero Suit Samus at the end of the thing, and we were like, "That's got to mean story mode." Probably not, but. It's just one of those weird bits where it's just like, why is this bit here?
Yeah.
And it's like, does it mean
there's
something?
definitely got to be a reason why his light is dodgy, right? I get that.
Unless, like, power outages or something like that is, like, part of Animal
they're
Crossing.
making some kind of weird mechanic in the new Animal Crossing game to do with power. And then I think we can safely assume, talking about Smash some more, after this Direct, they released the pre-orders, I guess, or made some more official pre-orders, because I guess pre-orders have been around for ages because of the new hardware bundle for it.
Sure.
Which comes out like well ahead of the game as well.
Yeah. Which is
like
weird.
November.
They did say like you'd specifically get a download code
for the game, so you won't be able to get the game early.
So they sort of planned for that, I guess.
But with that, they've also made one of the bundles with the Pro controller. They had box art for that. Which had the character portraits on the side of the box, and there's conspicuously about 4 slots left.
Yeah.
Which, that would make sense. About 4 more characters.
Although, in fairness, not all of the characters are filled in on that. It's like, it's only one side of the box.
Yeah, you can only see one side of the box in the image. So you assume that because of there being half the current number of characters on that side of the box, you assume that the other half are on the other side.
So does that mean there's like, because there's 2 spaces.
2 spaces on that you can see, so it's theoretically 4.
Yeah, there's 4 to come.
So, I'm fairly well betting on exactly what everyone thinks is going to happen, which is all the rest of the characters that people have been saying are going to be in. Shadow, Isaac, Gino, and Dixie Kong.
Gino?
The puppet dude from Mario RPG that everyone wanted. And was the Mii Fighter costume in Wii U.
I still think they're going to, troll us and be the very last reveal will be Waluigi isn't an assist trophy anymore. They'll just drop him in.
That's a possibility, but I think those other 4 are more likely, because basically those 4 are pretty much the last remaining characters that were always highly voted on the previous polls. And it seems like they're just going through them. That's why you got Crom and
I don't know. I just feel like they're so aware that of themselves that they have to know that Waluigi is so wanted to be.
Yeah, but they would have known that before the first one, even. Before he was revealed as an assist trophy in that first one, they would have known Waluigi was wanted. And then that was when they said no. And they could go back on it, but I don't know if they will. Because it seems like they already have a plan, judging by the fact that there's those 4 slots on that box.
Yeah, well.
He could be DLC.
Oh, boy, wouldn't that suck? Nintendo!
Yep.
That's what they had to say. Let's talk Sony. PlayStation Classic.
Not much to talk about.
No, just they looked at what everyone else was doing and
they did exactly what Nintendo did.
Yeah.
Except that, obviously, first generation 3D games look a lot shitter than last generation 2D games.
True. And they are faithful as well. It's like they're not trying to do any kind of fancy effects on it. It's like these are PS1-ass PS1 games.
Yep. So they look terrible. But
what? In fairness, some of the footage they used on the trailer didn't look as good as the things do in reality either. The shots they showed of Ridge Racer Type 4, one of the 5 confirmed games, was really low frame rate, and that game didn't have any problem with frame rate. In reality, it ran at a very solid 30 the whole time. Back in the day. And so it's just weird. It's like, why have you used bad footage here? It's like, maybe this thing actually isn't going to emulate these games very well.
Guess we'll find out. Because the emulation on the NES Mini and stuff was regarded as pretty okay, right?
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's it's about as good as anyone will generally notice.
Yeah.
Same with the SNES. There's a couple of things that are off, but they're super hard to know unless you really compare them.
Unless you're some crazy guy that wants to get, the fanciest possible emulations.
Most accurate, yeah. Like what are they called? Those NTs or something where they're FPGA based.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're good. But yeah, so the PlayStation Classic, indeed. And of course, no DualShocks. So
nope, just regular ass, no analog stick PlayStation controllers.
PlayStation controllers, so yeah. I'm presuming.
So you won't be able to get any of the later games on there.
No. And you do get 2 of them, at least. But then that's a weird one, because like R4 had analog controls, if you wanted it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I used the digital controls when I played that game, because Ridge Racer, for some reason, always handles better with digital.
Indeed. But yeah, depending on what the other games are, they might be ones that don't need the analog, right? I suppose, or don't. Yeah. Not that they need, but
that would be the smart choice. At least you get 2 controllers, which is a good thing, like the SNES Classic did. And
it's a shame not to have Metal Gear Solid. But
yeah, that would be the obvious pull, right? But it's such a massive game and over like several discs.
Yeah,
and it's like this thing actually is going to need some storage space. Is the other thing, like unlike the NES and the SNES, which they could fit everything in a tiny amount of space because ROMs. Yeah, it's like these ROMs are pretty chunky, like they're talking like a CD worth of content.
Especially if they've got like audio, like
I suppose they've already said. I suppose they've already said FF7's there, and that's like 3 discs.
Yeah, they have.
So it's like a gig and a half right there of content.
Probably not, actually. Those discs weren't very full.
Do you reckon?
Well, if you look at the PC version.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. That'll be the Christmas present of choice.
It's an interesting one. So it's a cool. If it works, it's a cool idea. A cool someone else's idea that they kind of had to do.
Yeah.
And if they do it well, it still puts Sega to even more shame. It's like, come on, Sega, get it together, do a good one of these.
Imagine if one day there's a mini original Xbox. That'd be ridiculous.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
It comes preloaded with Halo and Jet Set Radio Future. No, not Future. Sorry, is it Future? No.
Yeah. On the Xbox, it's Future. Yeah, and Panzer and Blinks.
Yeah.
Burnout 3.
Burnout
3. Rally Sport Challenge, lol.
Yeah, Rally Sport Challenge. Yeah, what a pull.
But yeah, Burnout 3 is the obvious one. Yeah, no, one day we look forward to that in 5 years.
Got to get them.
Still highly rumoured to be an N64 mini on the way.
Got to get that out.
Yeah.
Talking about terrible graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be playing GoldenEye. And Perfect Dark at 8 frames per second.
At least it will presumably be the equivalent of a built-in expansion pack.
Man, GoldenEye would be so difficult for them to get hold of now, though.
Yeah, they can't do that yet. Yeah. And Perfect Dark's already has quite a decent...
the re-release on 360 is pretty decent. Yeah. Or the Rare Replay collection.
Speaking of GoldenEye, to go off on a random, not actually news tangent, I was watching a video about GoldenEye speedruns and how, pretty much just in the last few months, they've discovered a new technique to shave a whole second off the last level. At this point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always fascinated by those. It's like, we found a new bug.
Well, the weird thing is, it's not even a bug. I don't know if you remember what happens at the end of GoldenEye, because
you're underneath the telescope.
Antenna. Yeah, and you run around and you shoot Trevelyan and all that stuff. But there's a bit where you run through this shed and you have to blow off a computer. And the normal way to do it was you run in there and you just run past the computer and shoot it. But it's because it's slightly out of the way. It was that's not an optimal route, but we can't really... There's a very precise shot you can theoretically do with a TAS from, the other side of the computer to shoot it, but it's not really doable by humans. But then they discovered that you're also, just coincidentally, in that room, you're also killing Trevelyan at that point in the run. So you kill him, you run past the computer, you shoot it, you exit, and then you just run to the end. But they discovered something that no one had actually realised before, because they always went and shot the computer, is that when you kill Trevelyan, he has a random probability to drop a grenade, which can sometimes bounce down there and kill the computer for you.
Oh, wow. Oh, what? So he would drop it and it would be live?
Yeah, he'd just drop a grenade on his death, which would occasionally bounce into the right position to blow up the computer. So now it's not so good if you're doing it like a marathon, but if you're only running that one level, you can just run it over and over until he randomly drops the grenade, so you don't have to do that 1 second of extra maneuvering to go to shoot the computer. You can just run through that room, kill him on the way, and hope that the grenade drops in the right place to blow it up.
That's crazy. Okay, like a proper speedrunner though, if it was doing you couldn't account for that, right? Because then you'd have to do the entire run again, and then. Well,
yeah, but most of the speedrunning in GoldenEye, they only do individual levels since the levels are
nice and segmented, yeah.
They don't do marathon on GoldenEye, really. So yeah, world record went down by a whole second because, it doesn't actually tell you any more precisely than that on the end screen. It only registers whole seconds.
That's mad. I find it maddening that there is that probability there in the first
well,
place.
Well, yeah, it does kind of suck.
Yeah.
You're now on RNG rules.
But just even the fact that it exists, imagine what a troll that is, especially if it's on the harder difficulty levels and you're struggling to actually beat.
You're struggling to do it for real, not speedrun.
And then he just drops a grenade on your face, yes, I've done it. What? That's evil. I never liked that level.
No. And it looked weird.
Yeah.
Because of fog draw distance.
Yeah. It's a bad level. So there's still 15 more games to announce for that PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, we'll see what they are.
What have they got? We've got FF7, Tekken 3, which is a good pull. It's the best of the three Tekkens on PS1. No, Ridge Racer Type 4. I can't remember the other two. Yeah, it's gone. I don't think I cared about them, whatever they were. Oh, Jumping Flash.
No, you do care.
I do care, yeah. Jumping Flash is on there. The first one, interestingly, not the second. Or third. There might have been a third as well.
What else is going on?
On the PlayStation news, PlayStation now does downloads. So you can... So I guess they looked at Game Pass and thought, this is actually kind of a good idea.
Or maybe they decided that streaming isn't the future.
Isn't there yet, yeah.
As everyone else has.
So I think it's a limited selection at the moment, but some of their PS2 classics and some of the games anyway are now available for download, and you can just play them on your console offline without needing to stream them. And it's okay, great, good idea. How about doing that with the rest of the selection? So that's the thing. Let's talk about this Telltale thing.
Yeah.
So it seems highly likely that Telltale are to be no longer a thing in a week's time or something like that, because they basically sacked everyone apart from 25 employees.
Yeah. Just to wind up a project, right? I guess,
yeah. Or to just, finish off the books or something, account for some things.
Sell all the chairs.
Yeah. Sell the chairs, yeah. But, I don't know. I'm not sure I saw that coming. I know Telltale were putting out a lot of stuff, but they were still churning out products, and some of them are relatively. I guess this is where the problem lies. Some of them are well received still. People seem to like that Batman thing that they did. They were hampered. The thing I always I always heard about Telltale was it's not necessarily that the actual content of the games they're making is bad, it's that it's hampered by their engine,
their tech,
and the technology, and crashy and unreliable.
Yeah.
I heard reports of people playing the Batman game going, I really want to progress further, but it keeps crashing at this one specific point, and I have to replay quite a large chunk to get back to that point, and I just don't want to do it anymore. So, it's a bit of a shame. What was some of their more recent stuff? That Minecraft story mode, I guess. They did that Batman stuff. The Guardians of the Galaxy thing came and went.
Yeah. They had a Game of Thrones thing at one point, didn't they?
Oh yeah. That was back when they were doing that and Borderlands.
Well, apparently everyone's disappointed that they won't be getting the end of Wolf Among Us now. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Because is that season running, or is it or was it just ended on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, I don't think it's running, but I think they were going to make another season.
Yeah, because people really liked Wolf Among Us season 1. I remember that much. I think most people fell off Walking Dead after season 1. And I think it said the others weren't as good, but they did do 4 of them.
Yeah.
So it must have still been selling. But
what did they do? Back to the Future, Jurassic Park.
Back to the Future was an early one though. And Sam and Max were the earliest. Of their new style. That Jurassic Park one wasn't well received though. Everyone thinks that one was bad.
The bad one.
Yeah.
Especially bad.
And Game of Thrones wasn't all that liked. But story, that Minecraft one was supposed to be good. As weird as it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's not like they were terrible, so it just catches me as surprising that I think they burnt. Everyone think the opinions just being this you're taking too much on, you're putting too much out rather than putting enough work into improving yourself. Just churning it out, and I guess that ran dry eventually. They had too many commitments, and they weren't doing as well as they needed to.
The plus side, they didn't get bought by EA.
On the plus side.
They just killed themselves. They didn't have to have EA do it for them.
I mean, I guess it's surprising no one picked them up, or maybe there wasn't a chance for anyone to pick them up.
Yeah, they just shit out so much stuff so quickly, and no one was ready.
Yeah, they just burnt too quick. And it was we could get bought. No, we can't. We've got no time for that. So Telltale, yeah, a bit of a pillar of that form of game making is gone. I suppose you could argue that who are I forget who's the developer behind Man of Medan and Until Dawn and stuff like that. They've kind of taken that mantle a little bit and making high quality versions of that style.
There you go.
Yeah, sad times. Let's talk about EGX.
Okay.
I spent a couple of days at the Eurogamer Expo 2018 in Birmingham. And play some games.
In the Midlands.
In the Midlands. Yeah.
Birmingham in the Midlands.
Birmingham. The Birmingham neck.
In the neck. Got it in the neck.
As no one calls it. I had a pretty good time. Couple of days. That's all you need, really. Get what we want to get done. I'll pick out some highlights. Play some Smash Brothers. Played 4 matches of Smash Brothers. And I tried playing stuff I hadn't played before in Smash Brothers. So I played...
Well, as I'm sure everyone did.
Yeah, so I played Ridley. Yeah, it's Ridley. What I call it, Ripley for a second. It's no, I got it right first time. It's Ridley. He seems to control a bit weird. I want to say he's quite Charizard-like, but there was a sort of sluggishness to him that I wasn't expecting, or a certain trickiness to finessing the timing with him that I just couldn't get down in a single match. Bayonetta seemed like I went back to that, because I never played the DLC, so I played around with her, and it's she seems a bit more normal, a bit more predictable as a character, just plays like a character.
So not really, supposedly. That's actually why that character's really good. It has some amount of comboing,
right? Because
that was the trouble with who was the other character that did it?
Ryu?
I don't know if it was Ryu, but yeah, kind of. But all the DLC characters have it to some extent, where they have things that are more like combos, which Smash Bros. Doesn't actually really have by default, which makes them too powerful.
Yeah, because I played another round as Cloud, and I couldn't really get to grips with him in a single match. There was definitely he was slower than I was expecting, I think, and his moves were a little trickier to pull off than I had time to figure out. And Inkling, who I had a lot of fun with, actually. Inkling's good fun to play, although I couldn't figure out how to get my ink back once I'd run out of it, and there wasn't any on the ground. And it's how do I refill? I know they told us this, but I couldn't remember it at the time.
You couldn't remember?
No.
The very distinctly thing where they said, hold Shield and press B.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't remember that.
I don't think you even have to have ink on the ground to do that.
No, because it wouldn't make sense. Like, cause otherwise you'd just run out and it'd be like screwed.
Well, you could have already painted the ground, but I think the paint on the ground dissolves
disappears.
over time, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. I found playing as Inkling was a lot of fun. Actually, really enjoyed that, especially like getting the roller out and just being like, "Way!" Inkling was cool. General impressions of the game. Like I didn't really notice much different in terms of feel from the Wii U version. I think as we expected. Like I'm not a pro or anything like that, but like it felt like Smash Brothers, and the look just seemed that little bit sharper than the Wii U. You know, there's just that little bit of improvement around every part of it. Get hype for Smash. It was a very cut down build, so there wasn't like nearly wasn't nearly the whole roster and like only a few stages to pick from. But it looked good. Get ready for Smash. I played Super Mario Party in the Mario-thon mode, which is like just mini games, bang, 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 crap it out. You get points for each one, like the coin ratings, I suppose, and you get a score after each one. And it's about who gets the highest score over like 5 games or something. And okay, this isn't indicative of the board game mode, admittedly, but at least in this particular slice of the game, they have sped that thing up no end. Like, there is no waiting around. There's no, like, big old wait time for an animation to come up to show you the rules of the next game. It's just like, wham, there it is. It's like almost no loading times, like, for the mini game. It's just like, bang, there it is, go. The little window showing a test mode, and everyone's basically playing the game before they start without having to go into, like, a trial mode sort of thing. Like, the game's just there, going. And you can mess around to get ready so everyone knows what they're doing before they get in, and it's just snappy. It's just go, 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 go. So if the board game's like that, this might be the best Mario Party they've ever made. Also, that stake flipping mini game, friggin' excellent. Love that thing.
Motion controls that work better than Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Yes, guaranteed. I sucked at it and came last by a long, long way, but like they're trying to flip you have to sear all the sides of the cube.
Yeah.
And you have to flick it like in the pan and stuff, and it's sliding around the pan like a mad thing. But it has like the ultimate troll where if you flick it like out of the pan, it's like, nope, start again. Like all of your progress is lost, do it again. And it's like, oh, that was hilarious. It was good fun. Super Mario Party might be good. Top tip. What else did we do at the Ninty booth? We wanted to play, like, they had an Untitled Goose Game there.
Right.
Oh,
on
sweet.
the Switch. But we didn't get to play that because there was quite a queue for that, as it turns out. People really want us to, and they hadn't planned for it. So they'd only had, like, one kiosk for it in their indie section. And everyone was just basically forming a line in an incredibly cramped space they hadn't really thought was going to have a line. So it was that was a little bit problematic.
Could they not predict that everyone wanted to play that? Maybe.
Everyone wants to play Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, definitely.
Admittedly, the bit they were showing is the stuff that we've seen in videos and stuff like that. There was nothing really new going on. But, I mean, that game looks rad. How to be an arse in goose form. What's not to love?
Perfect.
And it's still called Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Do you think they'll change it at this point? They kind of have to.
What, just call it Goose Game?
No, Goose Simulator.
Just call it Goose. That'll be fine, right? Just Goose. Goose! So you can pretend you're in Top Gun. I think that's all we really did at the Ninty booth. We played Starlink. The Switch version. I played the version on a Pro controller without the little model, though.
Right, yeah.
And Ubisoft were showing it off on both Switch and Xbox, I think. Microsoft weren't there this year. I have to say that is a notable thing. Microsoft didn't even turn up. So, like, the only Xbox stuff that was on show was because publishers decided to show it. So Square Enix were showing Kingdom Hearts 3 running on Xbox One X, for instance. And Starlink was being shown on Xboxes as well. Apart from that, nothing else really to say about Xbox this year. Kind of rubbish. So we didn't even get to see some Forza or anything like that. Like, just not there. Disappointing. Means I don't get my epic stash of free Game Pass.
So That's why they went there.
Probably.
Couldn't afford it this year.
Yeah, probably. Also, I don't think Microsoft really have a lot to say at the moment. It still kind of sucks. It's like, unless they were going to show up with Crackdown, what would they have had other than Forza? Poor show, Microsoft. Anyway, so Starlink was... I would say it's okay. Like, it didn't handle terribly, but that wasn't a particularly good way to show that game. Like, it didn't run massively well on Switch, I would say. Like, it felt framey. Like sub 30 at times. I mean, it looks like it's got a relatively high degree of polish on it, but the actual gameplay just seemed a little bit too simple. Like when you're on the ground, it was on the surface of a planet rather than space. So you're not really flying. You're like driving like a tank almost in this demo. Like, almost standard shooter controls, really. Like drift around with the left stick, look around with the right stick, and fire with the triggers. And it was kind of quite a basic sort of bossy style fight, really. Go to a thing, shoot some guys, they then find the location of a bigger thing, and you then shoot the glowing parts on it, and then that bigger thing starts moving around and attacking you, so shoot the glowy parts there as well. Shoot the underside of its legs when it's about to attack you, and it just seemed all a bit too generic. Like nothing particularly wrong, just nothing particularly wow either. Even if I was flying the R-Wing.
Do you think that actual boss fight was Star Fox inspired as well?
I don't think so. I think all the kiosks were showing that section, like even the Xbox stuff. So I don't think the mission was a Star Foxy bit. It just, you could use the R-Wing because, you're playing it on Switch. It did seem like there was some cool... Like, the customization stuff seems complex. Like, so you tell the game it's like you're playing digital only, and then it goes fine. Like, here's a menu instead for setting things up. Turning on the Switch. And then, you can then plug stuff into the wings. But it seems like you can plug wing bits into other wing bits and create really bizarre combinations. So I could, chain together 3 wing bits and make it like an S-shaped wing. Of just filled with stuff. It looked really ungainly and hilarious, attached to the side of like an R-Wing base. But it was kind of funny. So it does look like there's some customization there on how you can mess around with things, and and how that affects your weaponry and your abilities. So there could be some fun stuff there. But yeah, overall came away thinking it's like, seems all right. Perhaps I should have tried the Xbox version and see what it felt like with some frames, and it looks a lot sharper and a lot more detailed on Xbox, obviously. But yeah, Starlink. So that's what we did at Nintendo. I won't talk about everything, but I'll talk about highlights. So the first time I've ever played Destiny.
Oh yeah.
So I played some a co-op. I guess a strike. I guess it was called. I guess they'd call it in Destiny 2 Forsaken. That game feels really good.
Well, it's Bungie.
I know, but really good. I was bow sniping almost the entire time, and that is a really nice playing game. And it's free on PS Plus at the moment, so I might actually get around to playing that. You might too, Dan. Actually, with your PlayStation, you can do that.
Play Destiny. I suppose I could. Destiny 2. I've got plenty to play though.
Yeah. So anyway, I came away feeling quite happy about that. Actually, it's like, I think I'm a bit more. I came away surprisingly more positive. So, surprised how positive I felt about it. Really, it was just like, this is really good. Shows well. Soul Calibur 6. I had a really great time playing as Killick, poking people with a stick. Kibbs and I had a really good fight, pretty close. That game seems good. Hella expensive though, but it seems good. Ace Combat 7 did not demo well, and I think this was just because of its setup, not primarily, in that they basically just had a kiosk. You didn't have headphones on, so you couldn't really hear the game all that clearly. And the mission seemed the mission didn't really have a mission. It was just hey, fly around and shoot some things. So I couldn't really tell what I was supposed to be doing. So I was just flying around this area, getting into a few fights, and while this chatter was going on. Then there were subtitles on screen, but I couldn't really read them and play it at the same time. So I'd like to have heard what was going on. I mean, it's pretty. It looks nice, but terrible demo. I really don't know what to take away from that. Sort yourself out. Also played Man of Medan, but again, really nothing to say there. It was just like, this is going to be a game where you walk around and look at things and then some horror happens. Wonderful. Nothing learned. Other than bad faces. I think that game has bad faces. Like the animation is awful. Doesn't seem right. Played some Jump Force. That game is flashy as hell, but I really don't know what was going on. So Jump Force is the anime crossover fighting game. Sort of a three-dimensional fighter, a little bit like how a lot of those turn out. But the rendering is really weird. It's not done in a cartoon style. It's done in a realistic style, but the anime characters look like they're anime characters, if you see what I mean. So they've got skin and it's shiny in all kind of weird ways.
But with giant eyes.
Yeah, with giant one-piece eyes. And it's weird looking. Or Goku's massive, solid hair, but rendered realistically. It's a weird looking thing, but but when things are exploding all around you and you're getting punched through buildings and it's all exploding and there's shaky cam going off and it's a hell of a looking thing. It really is. It looked I don't know how any of it worked.
Right.
But it looks amazing. It's like a 30 frames per second thing, which I thought was a bit of a weird decision for a fighter, but yeah, it seems like they're just going all out with the flashy particles and lighting and stuff like that. It could be a good time. Let's do some. Oh, we played Division 2. It's the Division. We played. What else did we play in the indie section? I really enjoyed my time with something called Valfaris, which is a 2D pixel run and gun. But it's really hard, really hard. It took me half an hour to get through this demo. Repeating sections over and over again, but we were getting G'd on by the developers who were standing behind us going, come on, you nearly got it that time. And they really loved the idea that it was this difficult, every part of that game is a challenge. You've got to figure out how to get through the combat puzzle effectively and get through these sections. And then, and I think they loved the fact that Kippers and I both stuck with it right to the end and kept going, even though Kippers was hating it. I mean, he got hella frustrated with it, but I was loving the challenge. It always felt it never felt like the game had cheaped me in some way. It's oh no, I can do this. I know where I went wrong. And it felt really good. And also that game is metal as hell. It's got a really rockin' soundtrack. Just leans into that aesthetic. Whenever you pick up a power up, your guy headbangs just over the power up for a while while a riff plays. And it's just yeah, this is cool. I like this. So one to watch out for. Valfaris. Seeing Kippers play PokerStars VR was hilarious.
I'm sure.
Because he didn't play much poker. He was just throwing cigarettes at people and taking selfies. And giving everyone thumbs up right in their face. It was pretty funny. Oh boy, what else did we do? Yeah, I'll wrap it up by saying, I guess that probably the thing I came away with, probably the biggest smile or the biggest, just because this thing exists is incredible. I played a Mega Drive game that was made in 2018.
Nice. That
you can buy a cartridge of and play on real hardware.
Oh yeah, totally. That's our whole thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Called. But it's the first time this has been done since the 90s on a real Mega Drive development kit, not done in emulated form and then just chucked on a card and go. This was written for realsies using the old techniques, and it's called Tanglewood, and it's a puzzle platformer, and it's really good. And like it just pushed all the right buttons for me. And it's like, and the game's written by one guy. It was a labour of love for over like 6 years, and the only thing he got assistance with is he got an extra guy in to do some artwork and do the graphics for it, and another guy who knew how to basically muck around with the FM synth on the Mega Drive to make the noises sound good. And it's like I just love that this thing exists and that it's like a proper cartridge and it's a proper Mega Drive game and it looks and feels great. It's just, yeah. I'm so happy that thing was there, and it's like him and his wife were there doing the sales pitch as well for it, and yeah, just fantastic that thing exists.
Super cool.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
I worked with a guy who he was a project manager, but he wrote games for the Vectrix.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and put them out complete on cartridge or whatever it was, complete with all the stickers and everything. Yeah. And that was a small community, but that was quite cool, you know, because it was totally Vector console.
Yeah.
Quite an obscure one, but yeah, he was. So that was kind of a cool thing. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, the Vectrex is a weird little thing because it's like a little mini arcade machine, really.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Because it had to have its own monitor built into it, and those things die. Like they don't.
Yeah.
They don't survive very often. I've seen one. Ever, and that a real ridiculous collector friend I used to have had.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think he knew whether that one was working or not.
Indeed. Well, if you happen to have one, check out Chris Parsons' games. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this stuff. I love like people making legit stuff for old machines. It's great. So check out Tanglewood. You can't. There is the cartridge is a little bit expensive. It's like £45 if you want to buy the actual cartridge, and it's on pre-order at the moment for that. But it will work on your hardware if you've got a real Mega Drive. But there is also, they are selling the ROM on Steam, so you can get hold of the Mega Drive ROM, play it on an emulator if you want. That's fine, or stick it on an Everdrive and play it on real hardware. That'll work too. So it's like they've gone a whole hog with this. You can get it however you want, and it's just awesome that it's there. And I think the last thing I'll say is I don't really want to say much about it because you've got to play it and be surprised by it. But What the Golf? That's a fun time.
What the Golf?
Yep, What the Golf? It's hilarious.
Well, we're fans of crazy golf games, so. Ever since.
I don't know if we're fans of extremely crazy golf games.
Oh, but it is so crazy. Yeah. It's not really golf.
Well, yeah.
But it's funny as. So that was my time at EGX. I think it was an odd year because Team Sonic Racing. It's bad.
It's bad. Oh, okay.
It's bad.
Sad.
I think we were playing the PS4 version. It was framey and sounded. I think the setup didn't help. That the sound was terrible. The TVs were set up badly, so there was an epic amount of input lag, like the worst we experienced over the whole show. It was atrociously set up, but I really didn't think much of that game. It's like, especially coming off the back of Transformed, it's like ugh. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd year overall, and there's nothing really that we were going to see that we just absolutely have to play. It's like we weren't there going in because Smash, I guess, was my must play, but it's like I knew what I was getting into. It was going to be Smash,
and it was
just wanted to make, and it was Smash, and it's good. Super Mario Party was just something I was intrigued by, and Kippers wanted to play Division, not because he was a Super Division fan, but just because he liked that last one. It's like, well, this might be the top tip. We played Black Ops 4 on PC. It's Black Ops, nothing really to say. It's just kind of a lot of stuff that we sort of expected.
Nothing we were jumping out.
Yeah, we weren't really blown away. I think Kippers and Jam's game of the show was something I haven't talked about and I didn't play myself, but it was Phogs, Phogs. Where imagine a cat dog, but it's a dog on both ends and they don't have legs, like Nickelodeon's Cat Dog. Yeah,
right.
But it's a dog on both ends and it's a puzzle game based around, being a dog snake.
Okay.
And they really enjoyed playing that. Yeah, they really enjoyed playing that together, and that might have been the one like intriguing thing. But I didn't really go into it seeing anything that blew me away. It's just they were good games for sure, just not stuff I looked at and went, "Wow, that's amazing," or "Wow, Shooty Fruity is probably the most fun I've had in a video game for years." Oh, we played Dreams.
If you can call that playing.
Yeah. And it's worth talking about because the demo was well made, actually, because it was like they had one level from that's going to be in the like main story of the game, and you're playing a little electro dude who has a double jump and a hover, and you're going around electrifying things to turn them on, and it's like just, you know, platformy stuff, but in a sort of very creative looking big bug sort of world. Looked very nice. But then the other stuff in the demo was where the interesting part of it is like this was all stuff that the developers like of the game were asked to just go away for like a weekend and like go see what you can come up with using the tools. Like just crap something out. Can be anything. And some of it is really, really very good. Like really super impressive what they could build using those tools. Like they were all tiny. Like obviously because they only had like a weekend to work on it or whatever. But like one of them was a shooter, like a side-scrolling, like destroy these laser turrets, classic shooter style. One of them was like a little comedy skit where you'd be running around a little platform trying to get things to hug you, except you never could. And at the end of it, it just played sad music and went wah wah. Probably our favourite one of the lot was something called Comic Sans, where you played as a little cube that got drawn in by like a puppet. A very realistic looking puppet hand would draw a cube character on the screen, and then you'd be walking around this 2D world that looked like a comic book as this cube, and then eventually it would draw legs in for you, so you'd be walking around this world, and you'd be getting the things and jumping up to get some secrets and stuff like that. And then at the end of the comic, you walked into a 3D world, like a load of sand dunes, and the puppet hand would come on and like turn you into a 3D cube that looked like how you did before, but with legs and comic style. And then you just totter off into the sunset in this beautifully rendered 3D world, and that was the end of this little skit. And it's like, okay, this tool has some depth. You're like a 2D game turning into a 3D game with art chops. Like if the community behind this is strong, this could be a fascinating thing. Like the stuff that could come out of it. Yeah, Dreams.
Cool.
And they had the single biggest thing Sony had there was Spider-Man, which is already out. So it was just like they had so much space dedicated to Spider-Man.
They're really pushing the Spider-Man, but it's worked really well. Apparently, it's sold tons, 3 million or something.
I've bought it.
Good.
I bought a PlayStation for Spider-Man, so it's worked on me. Yeah,
my brother bought a PlayStation for Spider-Man as well, so it worked on him too.
It looks hella impressive. It was the first time I'd seen it like in motion, being actually played, and not really on a video or anything like that. Yeah. And it's a ridiculous looking thing.
Yep. Cool. Well, we'll look forward to your review.
Yes, I haven't started playing it, so you won't.
Okay.
You won't hear it from me this week.
We just know that you've bought a PS4.
It'll be coming.
And is this the one game you've got so far?
At the moment, yeah.
Cool.
I'll be stealing some stuff off Kippers, who's got some things, but.
Cool.
So was ni-i-i-igt. It's a good fun time. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, I saw the dude from Digital Foundry wandering around. The American guy that does the retros. And he was a bit far away from me when I saw him, and I just wanted to walk up and go, "Good retros," and then just wander off, like just be totally cool about it.
Not to be uncharitable, but he's not the coolest looking guy.
His t-shirt was very brown.
Well, I do enjoy his videos.
Yes.
His fashion sense is not exactly on point, but never mind.
Yeah, respect that guy for being there. I mean, yeah. What didn't we see? We didn't see Shadow of the Tomb Raider because I thought that would just be Tomb Raider. Don't really care.
Well, it is. Yeah.
None of us really have played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, so we didn't know what we would be getting into at Squeenix, really. You know, they had FF15 Pocket Edition on show, and it's just like, really? Not really going to do that, but not a AAA year in general.
For those guys.
Yeah.
Or in general.
For the publishers, I suppose. Like other than, I mean, EA weren't there at all.
Yeah. Cool. So that's the news, pretty much.
Nope. We've still got to talk about all the loot box stuff.
Oh,
God, that happened over the last 2 weeks.
I don't care about loot boxes. Who cares?
It's important. The
Why?
stuff is actually happening.
Is it legal?
Yep, it's very legal.
What's going on?
Well, so we kind of have to go all the way back to the start of, well, not quite all the way back. So before these last 2 weeks, I guess, we'd already had the Netherlands and Belgium making people turn off various parts of their games. Valve had already turned off loot boxes in CSGO. A couple of the other developers had done that as well for Netherlands and Belgium.
Right, yeah. Has Rocket League done anything? Because they were called out.
I don't know if Rocket League had. Not that I'd heard. But, you know, Valve and EA. And so then it led into... So the second thing that happened was... when NBA 2K19 came out, Take-Two made a blog post that basically was begging people in Belgium to lobby the government to allow them to sell loot boxes, which was a bit of a ridiculous move on their part.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
To be like, we want to exploit you more, so please tell the government to let us do it.
Right. I'm sure that went well.
Yep, that didn't go down good for anyone. But then, in the classic internet meme style, EA walked up and said, "Hold my beer." And basically said, "Screw Belgium, we're just going to have loot boxes in our games and take them to court about it."
Ooh.
So EA actually want to fight that in an actual court, which then immediately backfired for them, not just because it's a hell of a dick move, but also because the Belgian Gambling Commission then said, well, if EA win, we'll just change the law to make it so
they can't.
So that they can't.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
So that still hasn't gone to court yet. Who knows whether it actually will or whether they'll just... something will happen in the meantime that will change the situation.
I mean, wow, EA. Like they need to be like super backtracking on this stuff, right? Really, they need that goodwill. They need something, right, in there, and to stop people from being so annoyed with them. And it's like that. Ooh, yeah. Just ooh.
Yep. And then Finland turned up and said our police force is investigating whether loot boxes are gambling in Finland. So. That's to add a third country to that.
Okay.
And then after that, another 16 countries, well, countries in inverted quotes, because some of them weren't exactly countries, there was, I guess conveniently, a kind of meetup of various countries' gambling commissions, and they signed a thing which was like, yeah, we're going to start looking into loot boxes.
Oh.
Which included the UK.
Amazing.
And Spain and Portugal and Czechoslovakia and then the countries that weren't really countries, which kind of made the headline that appeared everywhere. It's like 16 countries. It's like, well, there was also Washington State for some reason. Don't know how they turned up in this European forum.
Oh, interesting.
And then there was like Gibraltar and Isle of Man and Jersey. And it's like technically separate entities, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jersey and Isle of Man are sort of devolved, but UK.
Yeah.
Really.
And Gibraltar as well.
Yeah, but Gibraltar was more of a separate state, though, right? In terms of
it's also tiny.
It's actually UK.
So yeah,
it's insanely tiny.
You've got all those countries are now like, yeah, maybe we should look into this loot box situation as well. And then like the UK Gambling Commission guy who was at that meeting said some more specific stuff about. Yeah, we don't like... Well, the UK, again, as they did the first time this came round, I guess, kind of focused on the skin betting side of it.
Right, yeah.
Which is more like third party.
The proper gambling part, yeah.
But, stuff's happening. Lots of countries are now... And the EA versus Belgium thing is the main thing. That's going to be, if that does actually happen, that's going to be the one that's going to be really fucked up.
That's so weird.
Because that's literally like actual criminal procedure.
Yeah.
Belgium were basically saying, like, change your shit or we'll actually start handing out fines and prison time for as much as you can.
Prison
Hand out
time?
prison time to foreign country companies, I guess.
Weird.
But, now EA have decided that that's the one that they're going to fight. Which is done.
I hope they lose.
Yep. And even if they win, Belgium is still going to be like, fuck you!
Yeah.
Apparently, anyway.
I love that they're that upfront about it as well. It's like, yeah, whatever. You can't sue us. We'll make it work anyway.
Well, I mean, they're only saying that because whoever is doing that understands that the only reason that EA could theoretically win is because the gambling laws are based on old gambling, not what loot boxes are. It's old laws that are being kind of massaged into a modern context,
Right,
and maybe there is an opportunity for EA to be like, no, we don't technically count under these specific wordings of this law.
Yeah, that perhaps a video game doesn't count as whatever arcane description of gambling actually was.
Yeah. But then, that's why you can just change it and bring in new stuff under the banner.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, yeah. Let's hope all of this goes somewhere in some ways. Like, I'm increasingly less on board with loot boxes. Like, even though I bought into Rocket Pass and things like that, it's like, but you know what you're getting.
Really count.
No, you know what you're getting with Rocket Pass.
I mean, that was what everyone thought was going to happen. Once Fortnite did it, everyone was like, this is clearly the future, isn't it? This is how we're going to get the loot out of loot boxes.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like loot boxes shouldn't like why EA are fighting loot boxes makes even less sense when you put Fortnite into the mix, right? Because that has no loot boxes, and it makes a bucket load of cash.
Yeah, but I'm sure not as much cash as FIFA does.
That's a really good question. Yeah,
sure, FIFA makes about an order of magnitude more cash than Fortnite does.
Yeah,
and then you've got all the other things that EA, like Madden and all the all the similar systems that are built into those games, all the sports that EA does, and then Take-Two in their basketball try to do the same thing.
Yep. Oh boy, yeah, those basketball ones, they're pretty atrocious.
So hopefully something will actually happen.
Yeah. What's his face?
Every time you talk about legal proceedings, you always like, it's just going to get settled out of court. But this one, it really can't.
You can't.
There's not actually a settlement that can happen. There'll be the worst case scenario in terms of getting rid of loot boxes would be just fines. If they just end up fining EA some money, which it's never going to be enough compared to how much money EA makes.
I suppose you're right. That's the other part of this. It's like, if they do end up being fined, is it worth just taking the fines?
Paying it and just continuing selling loot boxes.
Yeah. But then presumably they'd have to have some sort of repeat offence clause to make it increasingly ridiculous.
Hopefully, yes.
Weird. Alright, yeah. Loot box news. Make it stop.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do we have a news?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Good news section. We're 2 hours into this podcast nearly. Yeah.
Just news.
Well, it's just as well. I ain't got much to talk about in terms of games.
No,
so
not really.
Well, let's get to it then.
Go!
What have you been playing?
I finished the Octo expansion on Splatoon 2.
Finally.
Yeah. I've been doing it as sort of my little short time thing because, the test rooms are quite nice to just bang out every now and then. That game, that expansion ends real well.
Well, yeah.
Basically,
the single player ended real well.
Yeah. They've done the same thing here where they've basically just all of their... They've left everything on they've left everything for those last moments, and then they really show their prowess at how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And the last few sections are really, really good. So it's a lot longer than just a final mission like it is in the original, the regular story. There's a whole process of getting to the end now. There's a whole big long multi-stage level with different challenges that you hadn't done before, and it's a big long line of things you have to get through to get to the boss. And then you get to a mini boss, which is you basically fight Agent 3. So you're having a properly difficult Octoling on Squidling Inkling. There we go. Fight as the sort of less boss, and then you get another bigger boss that then does a massive twist on the game's own systems. It's like they play on the fact that, hey, this is a turf war, but not really. And then you start getting the graphics and the setup, and like the music is all playing into that setup as well, but not quite. It's all twisted and interesting, and it's really clever. Like they use the game's own style to bolster up what they wanted to do to tell the story, and it's really clever and really well done. To the point where it's like, oh man, if they were firing on all cylinders with this stuff for the entire single player stuff, this would be amazing. But it's really good. It's really, really good. And then once you've done all that stuff, and if you've completed every test chamber in the thing, there's a secret last mission that I can't beat because it's really hard. It's like a super hard version of the Agent 3 fight. And I just can't do it. It's crazy difficult. So there's still more, and then they give you an incentive to go back and earn more cash by doing the test chambers, so you can get more stuff. And it's like, it's highly impressed with Octo expansion. It was worth the money, even if it is like could be argued it's a slightly more expensive DLC package. Like what is it, like 20 quid? But it's really good. Well worth it in my eyes. And before Switch Online came about, it was like, this seems like a decent way of propping that game up. It's a good way of showing your support for it. Get that expansion. It's good. It's worth it. But now that's what Switch Online is for. So there's that. Been doing a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 still. Not as much. I think I'm getting a bit fatigued, in all honesty, with it. I got through a couple more story chapters. But the only thing I really want to mention is this one utterly, utterly shameless bit of product placement that's in there. I'm not 100% sure if it's even legit product placement, but this mission just stood out so badly. Like, it's like they have cup noodles in the game, and it's like they make no secret that it's Gladiolus's favorite food. He loves cup noodles. So then I eventually get to the point where there's a mission about making the perfect cup noodle recipe. So I buy some cup noodles for is one of the things, and then I noticed it's got like a Nissin logo on it. So it's like, or is it Nissin or something? It's like Nissin, and I'm pretty sure they do like ramen packs and stuff that you can buy from Tesco's and stuff like that. It seemed like a legit bit of branding, and then the mission starts, and it's all like very. Don't you just love that hot taste of fresh cup noodles? It's like. It's perfection. They basically use phrases like, it's like perfection in a cup. And it's just like, it was like, oh God, this is going very over it's like the cheesiest advert imaginable. And there's a whole mission about getting an ingredient for cup noodles. And then even when you finish it, they're like, oh yeah, that just melted in my mouth. It was, but they say it in this like, almost like half-assed way. It's like, it's really funny in its own sort of stupid, like, yes, that might be the best thing I'd ever tasted. Like, I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite cup noodle on the planet. It's so weird. Also, the sewer dungeon wasn't much fun. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 15. I'm still going. But, yeah, I'm like 45 hours in, and I think I'm starting to get a little fatigued by it. I just want more story. I want more. Yeah, that cup noodle thing was weird, and I want more weirdness.
Right, you're looking for weird shit.
Yeah, but so I did have like that sewer dungeon was super annoying because it was big and it was sprawling, and you had to find four buttons basically to open a door to another thing. That in the end didn't give you anything. So it was almost a completely pointless dungeon. But I did finally come across a boss fight in there, or a mini boss, I suppose, that I legitimately had to stop and figure out what I was actually doing in order to beat it. And it's like, Final Fantasy stuff sort of kicked in, because it would turn you into Toad. Like, it has Toad ability, and it's like, oh God, I can't do it. I'm getting really hammered by this. And it had Petrify as well. So like, at critical moments, I might not have a teammate to use the ability I need to keep everyone alive. So it's like, oh, I'm actually going to have to do some gear modifications. And like, well, okay, what have I got here? Like, oh, I've got some toad-proof stuff. Fantastic. I'll slap that on. And then once I equipped that mid-fight, because you can do that, you can just sort of stop mid-fight and go, right, okay, I need to rethink my strategy here. And I equipped all that to the guys, and then the fight became still difficult, but just that more bearable. I could manage it. And it's like, I came away from that fight thinking, yes, Final Fantasy, this is what I want. I want a little bit more, how do I tackle this scenario to make it better for myself? But this is the one time it's happened. in like all of 45 hours of play. And it's just that little hint of what could have been, I suppose. But anyway, I'm going to play more. I'm just going to try maybe play a little bit less of it, less frequently.
Well, just make sure you actually finish it. That's the important.
Yeah, I will finish it.
Don't get completely stuck on a side quest and then never come back.
I think I'm getting to the point where there are a few side quests I definitely can't do right now, or like they must be things I do later, and I'm sure one of them is bugged out. Or is just waiting for me to get to a point where I can actually do it, because it like wants to take me to take out these really big creatures, but you go to the place on the map and it's just like it's just one of the diners, and I go, okay, well the creature clearly isn't here. This diner isn't far away from the creature. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I go and talk to the person at the diner, and nothing happens. And it's like, so what am I supposed to do? I can't attract these creatures to come fight me because they're standing around in the middle of a big lake. And I can't walk into the lake. Like, do I need some ability to walk on water or something so I can actually go have this fight? And it's just really unclear what I need to do. So, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to have to crap through some story and see what happens. Again. But there's just so many side quests. Anyway, that's a good thing. And you know what? I might as well stop there. Like, we got to Diamond in Rocket League. Yeah, it was the first time we'd ever done it as a team.
Nice.
I hauled these noobs up in the Diamond.
Show your face. I mean, it's accurate, but show your face.
Although, to be honest, I've been having trouble staying in Diamond. It's gone all the way down to Platinum 3 again. I've had that classic sine curve where I go up and I go down, but now I've also run into the other classic problem of the sine curve where the bottom is sticky. Where once you get down to that level, it's just like, these guys are so bad I can't even carry them, comparatively, I guess. Although I don't really carry. It's like, I consider my tactics have always been defensive.
Yeah, I think when you're playing solo, you kind of have to be. I'm not really an offensive
striker or anything. And even when I'm up front, I rarely actually, because I'm still kind of bad, I guess, overall, I still rarely actually manage to shoot. I always make passes. Right. And then I'm extremely disappointed when the ball just casually flies over the goal and absolutely none of my team is in the same half of the pitch.
I have that. So I have a real, it's not like I don't enjoy solo, but it's just like, I always seem to get matched with people that are hyper aggressive. Like, admittedly, I'm only in gold for like my solo. My solo rank is terrible. But they're always like hyper offensive, so they'll always be up front and ball chasing and getting in each other's way. So the moment I try and be offensive, they'll ram me out of the way or something like that because they're just not paying attention. So I'm forced to play defensively almost 100% of the time. And I'm not a great defensive player. I really aren't. Like, I'll mess up flying. I'll jump when I don't mean to and stuff like that. And then I'll be like, oh, what a save. And it's like, well, you guys could have been back as well, right? Like, lemons, man, lemons.
Yeah, I don't even remember because there was a time when I was in that same situation. I guess it was earlier on when I just naturally played goalie anyway, so I wasn't feeling inconvenienced by that as much at that time.
It's like, I feel like we're getting a better rhythm down as like the three of us as the team. It's like I haven't been having to I know Kips is fairly aggressive as well. He doesn't come back quite as frequently as I think I'd like him to. But I think we've got that a little bit better in terms of how we cycle that round. And it's like, and then going back to playing just with people that just want nothing but to hit the ball. It's like, it's so frustrating.
I mean, that's still like my main tactic. As soon as I see two of my teammates practically on top of each other fighting a ball in the corner, I'm like, I'll just wait for the enemy team to clear it and then I'll just counter because that's just what I do.
Yep.
But then, of course, what I'll do is I'll come up to counter the clearance, I'll get the ball, and then I'll put a pass over the goal, and both my teammates are back getting boost, so it's completely pointless anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, you two need to get out of each other's ass for like 10 seconds.
Oh boy, yeah. That's the worst thing. Just when you've got a nice setup, you've got the perfect angle, you go for it, and then the other guy just rams you out of the bloody way because he's not paying attention. It's like, you should be going back right now. We don't need all of us here.
Yeah, or just spread out. Just be on the back post. That's where I go. On the rare times where it's an actual rotation and it's me and one other guy up front, it's like, I'll just go over the other side of the field because I know that's what you're meant to do.
Yeah. It doesn't take much, but apparently at Gold it does.
Yeah,
I just need to break through this phase, but it's hard to.
Yes, especially in solo. Solo has always been the difficult one to rank up.
Yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much all I want to say. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else really.
Well, the season's about to end, so we'll conveniently probably be able to get the diamond rewards for the next season immediately. Woo! For all of us, not just me.
But then what we've got to strive for? Rocket Pass. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The long grind of Rocket Pass.
Yeah.
Keep getting them levels. Still hasn't been a patch to make that screen take any less amount of time.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's not too bad. I don't mind it too much. But...
Well, it's bad just normally when the XP screen shows up, but then when you actually level up in Rocket Pass, it's like, oh no, this is going to take twice as long because it has to do the stupid level up animation. It's not actually a reward. It's like, oh, I leveled up. Great.
I don't really mind. I don't have so much of a problem with that stuff. I don't mind at all.
I mean, it's kind of okay because, like, basically everyone is doing it. So when you're coming to the end of the match scoreboard, everyone's still readying up at approximately the same time because they're all having to sit through that terrible, extremely long animation. But yeah, still inconvenient and annoying. It's like, you just want to play more quickly.
More games.
So that's Rocket League.
What else have you been playing, Zach?
Well, we haven't been playing much more Stardew and multiplayer. That may have ended, maybe. I don't know.
Didn't really hold you.
Well, I mean, we had already done it before in multiplayer with the mod, so it's not really that much different, even in the official version. It works better, but it's still Stardew. So we still, between like single player and multiplayer, we've both still played that game at least 3 times each. Twice in multiplayer and once by ourselves. So it's just like, you're not really seeing anything new. There are a couple of new things, as I said, not included with that multiplayer, but I guess we've seen them now. The new event that happens in winter. And I'm not sure there is any like super end-game new stuff that got added. And I played it a bit more in my single-player game, still trying to grind out those achievements, but I still haven't even found one more of those goddamn super rare artifacts that I'm looking for. Like, pretty much all I do now, because my farm is now as automated as it can be, where it's just like all my crops have sprinklers, so I don't have to worry about watering them. And also all I do is just like come out my house, check on the animals, check on the brewing, and then that's pretty much all I have to do on the farm. So all I do every day is just like do a loop around the whole map to check everywhere that the artifact spots can possibly spawn. And I still haven't found them. And it's been like half a year. And it's just kind of annoying. There's nothing you can do to improve it. I wish there was. That should have been something that they should have added in the update. They did add, there's a new like special secret item you can get that increases your luck permanently. But that doesn't really affect the artifact spot spawning. That's still just like a generic thing that's based on... It's not based on your luck, it's just a random chance per day of it spawning in the world. So it's not something you can control, like using the luck when you're going in the dungeons to make enemies drop more loot or whatever. So it kind of sucks. You're just churning away at the days, not actually even farming that much. But I still do have other things to do. Like, I still have had I was considering, like, not farming at all, but it's like, I do still technically need the achievement for exporting, like, 15 of every crop, which I haven't done, somehow. I'm like, which one of these in this list haven't I exported 15 of yet? Looking through there. And then all the cooking, so where it's like, obviously I need all the different ingredients, so I still have to grow all the different plants to get the cooking achievement. So, still reasons to farm. Maybe I'll get through that. And then... I played a lot of Factorio again. I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, now I turn on my base, and as predicted, the power gets completely fucked. So then I was like, okay, now I have to do that one bit of research that I said I was going to do, and now I can design a nuclear power plant and build that, and then not even trust my maths on that one, because it seemed weird. Like, I did all the maths like I usually do, put it in the spreadsheet and calculated it all, and I was like, this seems different from what I remember it being last time, but that could have changed in, like, the mods or whatever. It could have changed since last time I did it. And it doesn't seem entirely right, but then I was like, oh, screw it, I can't be bothered to check this maths anymore than I already have done, so I'll just build it, see if it works. And it works to run as a power station currently, but it's not really under load at the moment. Because it's also massively excessive. Like, it's far too much reactors compared to how much power I'm actually using at the moment, so I won't even know if it collapses under high load or whatever until I actually build a lot more stuff.
Right, I see.
But for now, it at least functions as a power plant. So that solved all my power problems. And then I was like, okay, let's go and build even more factory. But even though I said specifically when I was designing this modular idea of a factory, I was like, this is going to solve all my problems I had last time. I'm going to make everything nice and contained. And because of the way C-Block works, where everything comes out of nothing, it can all be separate chunks, and I can not have to worry about, being so precise about resources, because you have infinite resources effectively, so it doesn't matter if you're wasting anything or whatever. But I still didn't. I still fucked up and tried to be too recycling. Like, when you have a process that uses sulfuric acid and it puts out sulfuric wastewater, you can take that sulfuric wastewater and reprocess it and get sulfur back out, and then use that sulfur to make sulfuric acid. And it's not like it's 1-to-1, so like you do still need to generate extra sulfur over time. Yeah. But the recycling saves you some of that. So I tried to do that, and then I was like, no, this is still a bad idea, because pipes are so janky that you can't really get very high flow rate, and at this scale of factory, you're overloading the amount of flow you can put through these pipes, so everything just locks up at a certain point because there's lack of fluids getting through the pipes to where it needs to go. I was like, yeah, I did it again, didn't I? I need to redesign these factories to make everything contained and basically just be like, fuck the wastewater, just dump it. And then probably everything will work way better.
Right, screw the efficiencies.
Yeah, because you don't actually need them. And more so now that I have ridiculous amounts of power from the nuclear power stations, because really the efficiencies, if you're not saving resources, you're saving power. But now I've solved the power problem as well, so I effectively have infinite power and infinite resources. So it's like, now I can just be as wasteful as I want, and it won't actually matter. But that does mean I just need to start another redesign of a lot of stuff. But that's fine, because that's basically what the game is. And at the point I'm at where I'm like, I've got enough, I don't even really have enough resources to run the research that I'm doing. Like, if I run research continuously for a long time, it's like, oh, the iron belt's starting to run out, and then the copper belt starts to run out. And I'm like, yeah, I could do with some more of that. But then you look at the end game of C-Block, where you're like building the spaceship, and the amount of resources you need for that is insanely high. And I'm like, I'm not even just going to be able to expand this base to make it like that. I really am going to have to redesign to even get close to that level of throughput. Right. I'm going to have to go to like the maximum tier of belts, and probably like speed modules in everything, and probably robots to transport stuff around to get anywhere near that level of output. So that is still what that game is about, redesigning everything at a certain point. I still haven't torn down the old base, technically. If you look at my map, you've got like the right half is all the modular sections where it's like these nicely laid out squares on a grid with the pipes and stuff running between them. And then the left half is the old base where it's just, here's a kind of base, but it's still just random bits of stuff chucked everywhere. And it's like, here's a little experimental setup I was doing at some point that I've just left because I might need it.
You just need that, you need double that stuff just to get off the ground.
Yeah. And I haven't actually disassembled it, because originally I was going the left-hand base that was the old base. Once I got the right-hand base going, I was just going to disassemble that, and that was where the big nuclear reactor was going to go. But now the nuclear reactor is like crammed at the end of it, like turned around the wrong way on like sand, because I didn't even bother to pave it. So it's just like, fuck it. I can go over there for now. At some point, maybe I'll disassemble this. Disassembling stuff is just a big hassle, though. Even though I have robots now, or have had robots for quite a while, so I can just be like, drag over the whole thing and it will just disassemble it and shove it in boxes. But then you have to sort through the boxes. And there's a lot of resources that are like in the buildings, where it's just like a component of something that would only be used in another process, but there's just some of it inside the buildings, and then that all gets shoved in boxes, and you're like, oh, now I have to sort through all this crap at some point and put it back where it needs to go.
Materials are. Yeah.
So even just disassembling a base with robots is still actually quite a hassle at a certain point. Or, you can just ignore it, I guess. You could shove it all in boxes and then shoot them. Because that's the only way you can get rid of physical items in Factorio.
You can't dump it.
No, you can dump liquids and gases in this mod pack. You have the clarifier for liquids and the flare stack for gases. If you have a physical item, nothing you can do apart from put it in a box and shoot it until the box explodes, and then that destroys it.
It's the most fun way to destroy things.
Yes. And that was, when you're considering the idea of dumping resources like the sulfuric wastewater, it's like, I can dump sulfuric wastewater, that's real easy, you just shove it in a clarifier and it goes away. But if you have a physical item, it's like, can I somehow convert this physical item into a fluid, which I can then dump?
That's quite funny.
Automation is the key. Because if you're ever storing stuff in a container, you're like, this is going to go bad. It's going to get full at some point.
Automated dumps.
Yeah. I wish that... Because I did play ages ago, there was another mod pack. Well, it might have been a singular mod or a couple of mods that had, just an incinerator. Where you can pretty much just chuck anything in it and just burn it. It's like, yeah, that's nice. But also kind of made certain other parts of that mod too easy. Because I think it was the mod that had, the mining... where the mining drills didn't just output ore, they output gravel and dirt and stuff, and which you had to sort through. But then once you got the incinerator, it was like, you just dump all that shit in the incinerator and it just goes away. And it's like, that's too easy. For that specific mod. So yeah, Factorio. Still a bunch of that.
Still going.
Yep.
Still going.
Getting marginally more efficient now that I've got through the whole power and research problems.
Still going.
I mean, if you've got infinite power and resources, haven't you kind of broken the game? Or is that the objective?
Well, that is kind of the objective. Since the whole idea of C-Block is you are making everything out of just water.
Right, okay.
You do effectively have infinite resources right from the start. So the whole idea is that because the cost of everything is so ridiculously huge, you just have to build larger and larger bases to produce more and more stuff to actually keep up with the demand of some of these late game things.
Right. Mm.
So it's more of a game of scaling than hunting resources.
Right, that makes sense.
Normal Factorio might be. Or logistics. I guess there's still some logistics, but not as much.
So do you like it?
Make things where you need them rather than having to, you don't use railways in C-Block because obviously, firstly, there's no land, but secondly, you can just make the stuff where you need it rather than having to ship things.
So are you liking C-Block better almost, or is it just a fun sideshow?
Well, I mean, I've played Vanilla Factorio more than enough to be I've solved that puzzle, and that's what I need. I need puzzles.
Right.
That's why the C-Block is because it's this big combination of mods, and it's just it adds so much complexity in terms of the recipes and all that. That's the puzzle to solve. And I guess I've never really built massively massive bases, even in Vanilla Factorio. I did occasionally attempt to get that far. The one time where I was trying to get that fucking achievement for making 20 million green circuits. And that's a cumulative achievement as well. It counts up over time in any game. And I still haven't got it.
What, you did in your C-Block run?
Well, it doesn't count because it's modded. So it's in vanilla. One time I did specifically be okay, this vanilla game, I finished the main objective, I've launched the rocket. Now let's just try and make as many green circuits as fast as possible to try and grind for that achievement. And I still only made 2 million on that map. Out of the 20 million that you need, I think I've got 6 million total. That achievement's just fucking ridiculous.
So it's what was it called? Seriously 2.0 or something from Gears of War?
Yeah, just kill a million people. Wherever that was.
Yeah, some ridiculously high number.
And that is actually the only achievement I haven't got in Factorio. One day, but of course now I don't play vanilla any longer, so
no,
I'm not
just
progressing that achievement.
Oh, I'm going to have to disappear for a second, sorry.
Rob has to temporarily go right at the end of this podcast.
Yeah, I've been putting it off for as long as I could.
Well, hurry back for the ending.
Yeah.
Because you have to turn off the recording. I guess I could technically do it.
Yeah, that's a choice. I have to hurry regardless.
What have you played, Dan?
I'm still playing God of War.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm getting better at the combat now, and
is it about to screw you when you start playing Spider-Man and it's different but sort of similar?
I don't think so, because I don't think they are that similar. It like God of War, I know it's slowed down a lot, but it's definitely like character action in the vein of the old God of Wars, but in the vein of like a Bayonetta or something, which is quite different to
spamming stuff out, I guess, rather than thinking about these moves exactly like how Batman would.
No, it's slower like Batman. Like, you do have to think about it, but there's a lot more moves than in Batman.
Right.
Like there's a lot, and then you've got like these runic things, like magic spell type things. But my main problem was like forgetting to use all the abilities that I had, especially once you start gaining experience, you start unlocking more like combos and moves, and it's like, bloody hell, I can't even remember all the moves that I've got, in the base moves, let alone all the extra stuff that you can unlock.
Isn't Spider-Man going to be like that as well?
I don't think so, or maybe, but I don't think they're that. And Spider-Man's a lot more casual. I think God of War it's got some serious depth going on in the combat, which is the main game other than the story. So I think they're quite different.
Is that the same as Spider-Man? Surely the main game in Spider-Man is the combat, technically.
Yeah, it's a bit more light though, isn't it? And you've got all the swinging around and stuff, and all of that stuff.
And I guess you could say Spider-Man is sort of more in the Batman style of like, it's not so much about just brawling. It's like you're trying to pick people off beforehand or use certain tricks, eliminate people quickly.
Although God of War does have like environmental stuff, like, knocking down things to fall on people and stuff and all that. And there's a lot of like, my main trick entry into getting better at the combat was like focusing on the ranged stuff, like throwing the axe. Once I got more comfortable with that, then I kind of knew how to maneuver around, because when I was trying to sort of brawl, it was all going very wrong at first, but now I know where and when to brawl and when to pull back. And I'm still not very good at parrying. Like I tend to dodge instead of parry most of the time. But there are some, like the enemy range attacks, sometimes you can block them completely with the shield. And you can't, like if they're area of effect attacks, you can't dodge them, but you can block them with a shield. So I need to like get a bit better with the shield stuff. But I'm definitely, and I've managed to find some of the runic attacks that I actually remember to use, which are ranged ones basically, because my problem is that when I'm brawling, I forget all the stuff. So like, then in the breather moments when I'm like throwing the axe or whatever and I'm at a bit of range, then I'm like, I actually have some abilities that I could actually trigger at this point. So that's been my trick. And I think then maybe now that I'm starting to remember that I have these, because you have 3, I think there's like a light and a heavy runic attack, and then your kid has a magic attack as well. That are all on cooldowns, and you have the cooldown icons in the bottom of the HUD, but I just always forget to use them. So starting to improve there, and the story's going. I think I was complaining last time that I wish there was like a challenge mode like in Batman to hone the combat, but I think actually it might actually exist. You just have to, I think it's a different realm that's like optional. I think it's like a side quest to unlock it that I haven't done yet. So I'm going to go and investigate that.
And they didn't really make it explicit that that's what it was.
No, they haven't made it explicit. And also, because it's like part of the world or whatever in the story, it would be weird if they were like, hey, go here for the combat trials.
Well, I mean, they could have said something, like, you need training, you should go here and...
Yeah, well, that's what they should have done. I mean, but...
Couldn't there be, like, some sort of lore thing where it is, like, just a giant arena, because, like, Vikings...
possibly, yeah. I mean, maybe there'll be more of that. But it's more of a kind of...
Colosseum or something, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and the story is developing. There are some twists, even already. But I think it's quite a long game. I think I'm only like a third of the way through, even though I've been playing for a while. It's annoying. There's no hour count anywhere, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, right. So you don't know.
I don't know how long I've been playing.
Level 1 or something.
No, there isn't in the PS4. So there's actually no way of knowing how long I've been playing. It feels like a while now, but I'm definitely getting better at it. And of course, it has really spectacular sequences of ridiculous stuff going on, as kind of the old God of Wars did, but now it looks amazing, right? Like fighting dragons and running up the side of them and smashing them in the face and all that stuff. Complete with, because of course you've got the depth of the actual combat. So when it gets punctuated with a bit of pseudo quick time event, it works. It's not like
it's not all the time. It's like infrequent enough that it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that's working really well. And like I was saying, there's variety in it in the visuals because of these different realms and stuff. But you do spend more. I've spent most of my time in Midgard so far. So there's more aesthetics coming up, I think. So looking forward to that. I think it's pretty huge, this game. I definitely don't have time for Spider-Man, but I'm hopefully going to get through it before Red Dead times.
I'm still really intrigued on playing this.
Oh, you're going to love it. I can see why it's like a Game of the Year type deal. So it's definitely going to come up there. So very positive on it, even though wasn't initially my kind of thing, and I was quite frustrated at first with the combat. Like, I'm getting into it now, and oh, that's the duck. The only thing is that, like, that I was going to say is, like, there are these optional, like, realm tears where you can sometimes fight enemies that are quite a lot more leveled than you, or from later in the game or something. They're like normal enemies, not bosses, obviously, but that are too leveled for you. And that's kind of cool. But I was fighting these guys and getting frustrated because, I would finally getting good with the axe, which is the main weapon, and then they're like basically invulnerable to the axe.
Oh no!
So that was kind of annoying. They're like hell walkers or whatever they were. So that was kind of a pain. And then generally the combat is kind of best in a open arena, which there are lots of. Obviously, they vary how they look and stuff, but generally it's like a flat plane and you're fighting a bunch of dudes or one big dude or a couple of big dudes or whatever, and with not too much in the way. So there was a bit that I did, which is like freeing a dragon or something, and it was actually quite sort of a twisty-turny area full of like rocks and stuff, so it was kind of a little bit awkward trying to move around them, and also the dragon kept like breathing fire or whatever, electric fire all over the place, like making the ground dangerous to stand on, so you had to keep running around all the time, and then the enemies I was fighting had like kept stopping to regenerate their health, and the other one kept disappearing because it was the revenant, the like witch enemies. So that was an interesting fight. It took me quite a long time to figure out how to like run past. I used the bow, my kid's bow a lot. I seem to have upgraded that because usually you'd think, oh, I'll spend my skills on my attacks and my shield and all Kratos's stuff, but actually it's worth upgrading Atreus, the kid, because the arrows are actually pretty useful, not just for distracting enemies, but also for dealing them damage and stunning them and stuff. So what you're saying is don't neglect Bow Boy. Don't neglect the Bow Boy. Yeah, it's really useful. And don't forget to the problem is it's another thing to remember. You have to kind of remember every pause in the combat, you should like start spamming the bow, the arrow button. But yeah, he's pretty nifty. So very helpful. And enjoying the story and the boss battles and stuff. It's coming along, so I mean, it's a great game.
I saw God of War 3 is on PS Plus this month.
Oh, really?
Like I'm not. I can't say I've ever really played any of those like properly. Like, so I bet they play fine as like character action games,
but the tone is like totally different.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be put off by that almost immediately.
Almost certainly. I don't think they would be my kind of thing. I'd rather play Bayonetta.
Absolutely.
But this new one, killer. All killer. No, very little filler, given the size of it. So I would definitely get on board once you're done with Spider-Man in.
Well, yeah, I hear that this Spider-Man is pretty large in itself, even if you're like mainlining it. You know, there's a lot to do there.
Well, we'll see, depending on
a lot of it's worth doing. Yeah, from what I hear.
Or depending on our play rates, if you don't want to spend $1, we could probably swap our physical copies of...
Absolutely. Yeah. By the time I'm done with Spider-Man, well, we'll both be deep in Red Dead at that point. So.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Assuming you're playing it when it comes out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
That's the whole point of me getting this thing, really, other than Spider-Man. It's like, I'll be Red Dead for sure.
Coolio. Right. Look forward to that. And that's the end of our podcast.
I need to dislodge a cat from my lap.
Yes, you got up and then you sat down, then the cat's out there.
Yeah.
Have we got any videos coming up on the old Happy Salad YouTube channel?
There is another Gungeon video going up next week.
More Gungeon.
Gungeon 4 in this batch of Gungeons.
Yes, in this instance.
The advanced which way round is it? Advanced Gungeons and Draguns.
Yes.
This will be the fourth one of those we've done. The most successful one so far. Spoiler alert.
Gungeons and Dragons. Okay.
I think I'm running out of ways of like making ridiculous twists on that already. Like that name. I think I could probably keep going, but they're just going to get like a lot more ridiculous.
Well, I mean, what you needed to do for Gungeon was start doing what you do for the Saladcast. Start using the names of guns that we got in the run.
I sort of did. Well, there was that one. Was it Abundant Gunkies and Donkeys?
Yes. Whatever sense that makes.
Yeah, so I've already got a name for this one. This next one.
So ridiculous. Check that out when it comes out on our YouTube channel.
Yes, we've had we've sort of been donated a copy of, well, not donated, lent a copy of Final Fantasy 12. So maybe we'll start that. Maybe. I haven't decided yet.
What happened to Final Fantasy 8?
Yeah, I know. We did that one, and then it crashed, and then we lost the footage, and it was like, we're never playing this again.
Okay, it's over.
I have a plan for another series.
Oh, do you?
That I want to get to at some point, but I haven't decided when.
Oh.
And also, it may not turn out to be a series.
What? It might just be one.
Depends how it goes.
Okay.
Well, stay tuned for that, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another Saladcast.
Move, kitty. Move. Come on.
Your cat is disapproving of your moving.
Come on, cat.
No,
come on. That's not off my leg. You need to be off my leg. There we go. I'm free.
The cat jumped at you.
He jumps at my face.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.